And we are live. Hey guys, doing a live stream. Hopefully someone joins and talks to me because right now I'm very lonely. Hello. All right, I'm going to share my live stream link on Twitter and Instagram. This is like live stream traditions. We do this every time. Just going to wait for a few more people to join in. Evie, come say hello. Yay, that's Evie. It's her tail. Love your photography. Thank you. I'm gonna use a landscape photo. Live on YouTube, critiquing the photos you submitted. Swipe up to join. My talking while writing voice. Hey guys. Today we're going to be doing a live critique of the photos that you guys submitted. Hopefully it's not lagging too much. It looks like the internet's having some issues. Oh, there you guys are. Hello. Hello neighbor. Hey Kung. Hi from the UK. Okay, everyone, let me know in the chat what country or state you guys are from. I love doing this when we start the live stream. It's always so fun getting to see where you guys are all from. I'm from Sydney, Australia. And I'm just going to post to Twitter as well. And I'm live. Come and join. Doot. Texas, Atlanta, Ghana, Virginia, Florida, Hermosa Beach, California, England. So cool. Slovakia, Australia, France, UK. Hi from Disneyland. You're watching me at Disneyland? That's awesome. The California Disneyland. Texas, Chile, living in Texas, Germany, New York, Netherlands, from Penrith, Pakistan, Poland, France, Buenos Aires, Slovakia, Gold Coast, Scotland, Slovakia. Wait, I think I'm reading the same Slovakia comment like 3 times. Italy, Canada, Paraguay, Spain. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, California Disney. Nice. I've been there 2 times, once with my friend and once with my sister. It's such a cool place. I love Disneyland. Czech, Guernsey, I don't know how to pronounce that. Vietnam. Oh, I might be going to Vietnam next year. Uruguay, Tasmania. Do you still use Canon or Sony? I use both. I like to use Canon for my wedding photography and my fashion work, and I like to use Sony in low light conditions, so during the reception of a wedding, so I can shoot with low light and natural light as well instead of having to use flash. And I also love using the Sony for when I travel because it's lightweight. I can do video and take photos on it, so I don't need to have like 2 big cameras with me. Evie's joined us. She's going to do something naughty in a minute. I know it. Yep, there we go. Evie, come. Come here. Oh, I just don't want her to knock anything down. She loves getting up there and just knocking everything off and just watch it hit the ground. How do we get our pics to be critiqued? So for today's video, I've already saved all the images that we're going to be critiquing today. Evie. Evie. Come here. Come. I don't know if you guys... No, you can't see that. She was like reaching up into the ceiling. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so today I've already saved all the images that we're going to be critiquing. But if you want to send photos for next year, we can do more live critiques if today goes well, and I'll also do more critique videos in general. The email is juliatrottycritique@gmail.com. Just attach 1 to 3 of your favorite photos just in JPEG and include your Instagram handle as well so I can credit you if you're featured. Sony for life. No worries. I love cats. Yeah, so do I. You should do a photography challenge with lenses you don't use anymore, like the 24-70. Yeah, I know. I said I was going to at the beginning of the year, and then I kept like chickening out and not doing it. But I think next year for sure. I mean, I did do it with the 85. I had stopped using that for a couple of years and decided to do a few photo shoots with it, and it went really well. So I should do it with the 24-70. The only issue is I've got the Mark 1 and I feel like it misses focus a little bit, which annoys me. But I'll do it. I'll do it next year for sure. Cats can jump around 8 feet vertically, the more you know. Yeah, they can jump like from the ground to the top of a fence. It's crazy. When you started, did you use the nifty 50mm Canon? I used the 50 1.4, which I call the nifty 50, but a lot of people refer to the 1.8 as the nifty. But yeah, I used to use the 1.4 50mm for the first like year. It was the only lens that I had when I got my first professional DSLR, the Canon 5D Mark II. And then the first like L series lens that I got, I'm pretty sure was the 85 1.2. And then after the 85, I got the 24-70. Yay, finally I catch this stream. Yeah, I decided we tried to start a little bit earlier this time at 10 a.m. because last time I think we started at like 11:30, and that's already quite late for a lot of places in the world. Oh, so many stuff to read. So many stuff. Good English. Oh, Dan's joined us.
Morning.
This is Dan, everyone. Oh, and Evie's back as well.
Evie wants biscuits. You want biscuits, don't you? Morning.
Do you like Sigma Arts? I have the Sigma 24mm 1.4, which is nice when it gets focus, but it tends to miss focus a lot, so I barely use it. And then I also use the Sigma 85mm 1.4, and that is an amazing lens.
And we've got the 18-35 and the 50-100.
Oh yeah, and then Dan uses those lenses.
I don't have enough hands.
Oh,
Okay, hold on. No, coffee's mine, biscuits are yours. Not the other way around. Biscuits too.
Can you say again where and how to submit photos? Okay, I'm going to change the thing to screen plus video. Here we are in Lightroom. There we go. Except our image is, let me move us. Sorry, we're moving. There we go. The email's just down the bottom if you guys want to submit your photos there. Julia, I think my equipment is limiting me talking about quality. I have a Canon 600D. I'm shooting 100% with natural light because I have no flashes or anything like that. But I have 2 mechanical cameras for 35mm film. Do you think I should start shooting with these film cameras? It really depends like what style you're going for and what type of photography that you do. But I do think you can create good images with a lot of different cameras. I used to, when I first started photography, I used to take photos on my family's point and shoot camera. So I had like no settings to change, no lenses, no depth of field, nothing. And I would try to create as good as possible images with that. So you can create stuff with anything. Something I really want to make a video about. But yeah, if you've got the film cameras, I think you should definitely use them because it's really fun to shoot film. Dan and I normally shoot film when we're traveling or like going on a road trip or something like that because it makes you think about taking photos differently. The Sigma 50 and 85 are great, rest not happy with. I've heard the Sigma 35 is really good, but I've yet to try that out. Julia's 35 1.4 still your favorite? Yes, it is.
That will never change.
Yeah, I feel like it's just always my favorite. We're filming the live stream. The shot of us is on my 35 1.4. Dan, what are you drinking?
Coffee. My first coffee of the day.
Oh, poor boy. Coffee boy.
What are you drinking?
Coffee. He said mine's cold now.
Oh, poor girl.
How about workshop in Slovakia? I would love to do workshops in person. I feel like that would be really fun and a really rewarding experience. Something that we're planning for next year actually is to create an online workshop because the only thing about in-person workshops is that I don't want anyone to miss out because we have to travel to very specific places to host workshops and not everyone can travel to like a main city and stuff like that. So we were thinking of doing an online workshop, which means that everyone would have a chance to be part of it. And then when we travel, I really want to start doing photo walks where we just all meet up in a big group and go for a walk and take photos of the city and photos of each other and stuff like that. I think would be really fun. So those are some plans we have for 2019. So weird to think that it's almost next year already.
That time of year where you can just say that you'll do it next year.
Yeah.
I ain't doing my washing until next year.
Have you ever tried photo shoot with babies/toddlers? I guess it poses a lot of challenges. Yeah, I have actually. And the first time I went to do it, luckily it was with my cousins. They just had a baby and they wanted some photos. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it because I've never done baby photos before. And I wanted to practice back when I was starting out. And the first time I went over, we went right after the baby had its nap. So it was wide awake. And I think there were just too many distractions with the camera and my cousins trying to make the baby smile. And the baby just got overwhelmed and was just crying the whole time. And from there, I learnt my lesson to schedule baby shoots for when it's time for them to sleep. Because that's what we did the second time. And the photo shoot went awesome because the baby was sleeping the entire time. And then, a couple of photos at the end or the beginning with the baby awake as well. But yeah, having the baby sleeping the majority of the time was the best. It's 6:20 p.m. here in Jamaica. Where are you? We're from Sydney, Australia, and it is 10:30 a.m. or 10:20 a.m. Hi from Cambodia. Hope one day you will travel in Asia and come see Cambodia because I'm your big fan. I would love to go to Cambodia. That's definitely on my list of places to go. I was just saying earlier that we might be going to Vietnam next year or Thailand as well. I really want to go to Vietnam though. Hello. Look at her little butt.
Evie. There you go.
Are the focusing points on the 5D Mark IV different than the Mark III?
Yeah, there's more.
Yeah, there is. I was like, I can't remember. Yeah, they are different. There's more focus points on the Mark IV. And how I get sharp photos, I like to move my focus point to the one that's on, or if it can't be on, then the closest to my model's face or eyes. I'm going to make a video about that soon though. I have one already, but I wanted to make a more simplified version of that video. So yeah, I think we're going to start the live critique because there's a lot of you guys here. Have you in the chat submitted photos to the critique? Hopefully maybe your photos will be here. I also just wanted to mention, I know like 99.9% of you guys are really nice and amazing, but I just want to remind you just to be kind in the chat. A lot of the photographers that submitted their photos for critique are not professionals, they just do it for hobbies. So a lot of the time they're just beginning or they're just learning, they don't have professional models and things like that. So just wanted to mention that, though I know you guys are pretty awesome. So oh, and also the username in the top left-hand corner of Lightroom, the file name, is the photographer's Instagram username. So there's a lot of talented people that we have to look at their work today. So if you like, please go check them out on Instagram as well. There's like 40 photos, so there's more as we scroll along. All right, so this is the first photo, and I'm gonna have to say people's usernames because I didn't save their name. This photo was taken by Vismars on Instagram, and I really like this photo. I love the cropping of it. I feel like the composition is really cool. The negative space at the top really works in my opinion. The lighting of the shot is really cool as well. I like how it's a sunset dusk kind of look. It seems like a really typical Californian afternoon.
Yeah,
that's what I see when I look at
We've
it.
got some similar shots down in California.
Yeah.
I like it.
The only thing for me is that while I love the composition and the cropping, I would have liked to see a little bit more of the skateboard. I don't know, what do you reckon?
Yeah, if the skateboard was, I'm curious, like, usually it's a good design underneath.
Mm.
On the board,
Yeah,
it was
if you
flipped
could
the
like
other way
flip
around,
it. Mm-hmm.
slightly more out.
But yeah, other than that, I really like it. I'm going to say, but yeah, and other than that, a lot. I always, when we're recording the critique videos, I have to like force myself not to say that.
What about the negative space?
I like the negative space. I think it works in this image. I guess, yeah, maybe the more you look at it, the horizon line is going right through the subject's face. And this is something I tend to do quite a lot in my photography as well. Just like
a horizon line, it really depends on how blurry it is.
yeah.
If it's a busy horizon line, like if you've got colors and stuff happening in the background, it can be distracting. If you're talking about it's mostly just blur and a bit of a line, if it's far away enough, you can seriously cut it through someone's eyes and it'll still work.
Yeah, because I feel like it's not too distracting here. I think because it is such a shallow depth of field, so it's not a very solid line. And also there's quite a lot of like people and stuff in the background too, so I feel like it's not that bad. Yeah, I like this shot. I didn't realize there was a critique submission, would have sent something in. Yeah, I mentioned it a couple of times. I usually mention a lot of these things on my Twitter, which I credit when I do my videos. That's where I like write everything down and ask questions and let you guys know when the live streams are on. Dan has some reverb, sounds cool though, like a robot.
Nah, it's just computering probably between the two mics.
Yeah, because on the live stream software, apparently you're only allowed to have one microphone.
One mic per audio interface, which is kind of annoying.
Looks like a pole, not a skateboard. Yeah, that's why I thought it would be better if you could see a little bit more of it, just to be like 100% that it's a skateboard. But I'm pretty sure it is a skateboard because it looks like he's holding it from the wheels and it's got like that little bend in the top thingy. Is this your boyfriend? Yes. You need to check your mic, Dan.
What's up?
You need to check your mic.
Yeah, I'll check it.
All right, next. Oh, and let me know in the comments if this is like your photo, if it pops up. This next photo is by Manas Dharmama. I'm really sorry if I mispronounce your names. Really like this photo, gives aesthetic vibes. Yeah, I agree. It's like that whole typical California afternoon sunset kind of feel. I love that. I really want to do a photo shoot in California when we get to shoot at dusk.
Back to California?
Okay, no, now we're in... I'm pretty sure in the email this person mentioned that they live in the very far countryside of India, so they have no models to work with, and I think they also mentioned in the email that they have no cool locations to work with. But looking at this photo, this location is awesome. Like, I would love to be able to shoot in a location like this. It's so cool. Are you going to save the live stream? I need to go to sleep, but would love to see it in the morning. Yes, the live stream may take a few hours to upload once we're finished, but it will be on my channel for you guys to watch whenever you want. Are we allowed to send some photos now? I've already saved the photos that we're going to be doing for today's video. I mean, depends how quickly we get through all these photos. Maybe I'll add in more at the end. But otherwise, we'll do more critiques next year. So you can submit your photos and I'll, save them for next year. And the email's down below. I'll just leave it up so you guys can have it. Okay, this photo, I really like this photo. The location is really cool, like I said. I really like the subject's pose. I like her facial expression. She looks really relaxed. I think it's really cool. A couple of things for me is that I wish the cow in the background was, like, I know it's hard to direct a cow, I guess.
Animals are not easy to direct.
But it would have been really cool if the cow was to the right-hand side to fill in some of that negative space. It's kind of like a bit hidden back there, so it would have been better if he was more prominent in the shot. I just feel like it's a really cool thing to add in the photo. And then the other thing, something I would have tried is to get in a little bit closer to my subject. I feel like those sticks to the right-hand side of the image are a little bit distracting. It's kind of, you've got the sticks and the cow competing for attention with the subject that's in the middle. Like, you've got these three main aspects in the photo that capture your eye quite a lot when you look at it.
I've got to crop in a bit.
Yeah, so I would focus on bringing more attention into the model, either by getting in closer, or you could have tried shooting in portrait mode instead of landscape. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that is, a portrait would have worked well. I'm assuming those trees are much taller.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have gotten some good space up top as well.
Yeah, some nice bokeh. But it's cool. I like the post-processing as well. It's like quite cold, which is cool. And I also like how color coordinated her outfit is. It really matches like the scene.
It is a bit desaturated for my liking. It's a little bit too much.
I like it. Because those sticks are on the rule of thirds, it directs your eye to them. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, even like shifting a little bit or portrait mode, something like that. I like her looking away. Yeah, me too. She's got a really nice, calm expression on her face.
Yeah, I can't be that calm around animals.
Me neither.
Cow or a horse, like, it's just like on alert. Very chill. I like it.
I'm like the most scared to do photo shoots with horses.
In case they kick you away.
Yeah. How many images will you be critiquing in the stream? We have 41 photos to go through, but we'll see how long it takes us. Because I don't know, sometimes I tend to talk a lot. So next.
10:30. That's 2 photos. So you're at 15 minutes per photo. We'll probably be here till 8 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah.
No colors is so saturated. I'm assuming you mean desaturated. It's a very interesting way to edit. Sorry, I'll go back while I read the comments. It's a very interesting way to edit. The low saturation is so interesting, but the colors still show through. It's really cool. Yeah, I agree. I think
the colors do show through.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking there looks to be a lot of, I don't know, hay and kind of dead leaves on the ground. I feel like maybe the original image might have looked really orange from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And also the wooden wheelbarrow thing that she's sitting on as well. So I feel like they did a good job in like getting rid of all that stuff.
I got dead leaves and dirty ground playing in my head now.
I think no cow would be nicer. Yeah, I agree. It's like a little bit too hidden in the shot. It either needs to be more prominent or maybe just ask the cow to step away. Okay, next shot is by Diana Bodnar. And her username is dianabodnar.ph, and then .jpeg is like the file extension. Please tell me how to get bokeh effect. You get the bokeh effect by using a lens with a wide aperture such as 1.2, 1.4, 1.8. If you don't have a lens that does that, then you can also get bokeh by getting your subject to stand away from like a big tree or something like that and playing around with the distance from where you're taking the photo to where the subject is to the background. If that makes sense. Where are you guys from? I'm from Philippines. It's 7:30 a.m. here. Looks like it's still early. Yeah, it's 10:30 a.m. in Sydney. Okay, this shot is super cute.
What time?
10:30.
Kidding.
Guy needs to relax. I feel like he looks natural in this shot. What do you think, Dan?
Sorry, she's bugging me for biscuits. I like this shot.
Yeah, I like it too.
I love her pose. Like, it's a shot that's in the moment. It's not staged.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's good.
Yeah. It looks... Because I like the posing, I like the expression, I like the... Can you hear my throat? The black and white conversion as well. The only thing for me is that in the background, it looks like there's this beautiful lake with mountains in the back and this cool tree hanging out.
I wonder if anyone's noticed yet.
Yeah, but it looks like you took the photo from the other side of the road. So there's this car in the back right-hand corner. My goodness, excuse me. Oh, we have someone whose photo was critiqued.
Oh, the one prior.
Check out my Instagram to see a couple more of my photos. That was the California looking photo.
Awesome.
Yay. Thank you for submitting.
Yeah, if you see a picture, shout out. But yeah, if that was on the other side of the road, would have been perfect, but it's a shot that's in the moment. So, like, the only thing you could do is shot the car out of the shot. That would have been...
I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult to do to get rid of the car because it is quite overexposed here. You could maybe just paint with the Photoshop paintbrush, just some white and kind of like blur it out a little bit. I did that recently actually in a photo that I took of during a wedding. We hung the bride's dress on the doorway and I took a photo from the inside where you could see out. And it looked really cool because it was like this harsh kind of backlit thing. But in the background, you could see the tires of the car that was parked in the street. So because...
And everything else was overexposed?
Yeah. So because the majority of the background was overexposed and just solid white, I really easily and really quickly painted over the tires with white. So it looked a lot cleaner.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like... Yeah, you could just get rid of the car because, like, I really like the cobblestone on the bottom.
More.
Do you think so?
You can get away with a little bit.
I like the space around them because...
No, I mean, if you were trying to hide a little bit more of the car.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Like, because if you...
Grumpy Digger, you're obsessed with the mouth. You just keep bringing it up.
So, like, this bit here... you can get rid of that easily.
Yeah.
Paint that straight into the whites. And if you were slightly cropped, it would chop off this grill.
Yeah, and I guess
you wouldn't tell what it is.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as obvious that it was a car.
Well, I think a lot of people didn't even notice there was a car.
Oh, until we pointed it out.
But I love this shot. I love the fact, like, I'm a sucker for a portrait that's in the moment, that's not staged. That's not staged. That's just two people in a moment.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's good.
Can't help it as love the photo. Yeah, I love the photo as well. It's so pretty. All right, cool. I also, oh my gosh, I adore the bokeh in this tree. This is like everything I live for when I look for bokeh. It's so pretty. You should do photography website critiques, point out things wrong displeasing about fan submitted photography websites. Yeah, that would be cool. I think Frono's Photos does that. He does website critiques.
I have no idea.
But yeah, that would be fun to do. Maybe another live stream thing. Okay, next photo. This photo is by herberts.photo on Instagram. This is a nice shot. I like this. The lighting is really pretty and the post-processing is really nice too, and the bokeh is beautiful. Some things that I feel like could improve is that I don't know how I feel about the pole or the brick wall that she's leaning on. I'm not a massive fan of straight lines on the sides of photos. It would have been really nice if you got in super close and just had the trees in the background. So she could have still been leaning on the pole, because I do like how that pose looks and it creates interesting shapes with your model. But if you had just gotten in closer with your camera and gotten rid of that, I feel like it would have been really awesome. Is there a little too much top area? Yeah, that's what I feel like. Maybe I could crop. Kind of just like crop it out a little bit. I mean, it doesn't look as nice when you crop it afterwards because that's quite a big crop. But if you had gotten in this close with your camera, I feel like it would have been such a dynamic shot. And it would have been pretty interesting because like she's got this interesting pose, but you can't see what she's leaning on. It creates a bit more of a story when you look at it, if that makes sense. How did you make your beautiful website? Thank you. I made all my websites with Squarespace. Like, legit. Has the focusing system on Sony changed your photography in any way, either the workflow or the results? To be honest, you know how Sony's got the whole eye autofocus and face detection and continuous focusing with the face and stuff like that? I personally don't really use any of it. I think I'm just so used to doing focusing my way from DSLRs and stuff. I'm just so used to it that I don't even think about it when I'm doing it on Sony. So for me personally, it doesn't really change. I mean, it's good, the eye autofocus. Every once in a while, if I see something happening and I don't want to miss a shot, I quickly press the shortcut for it to focus on the eye and I get the shot, which is something I would have otherwise missed if I was using Canon.
Eye autofocus?
Yeah, but I don't use it all the time.
It's handy, but we're used to moving focus points.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
It's like a hard habit to kill because it just becomes so second nature when you're shooting.
Like your thumb's just looking for its job.
Yeah, my thumb's always
like
doing something.
Just,
Have you ever thought in participating in Jessica Kobasi's challenge, 3 photographers shoot the same model? Yeah, I would love to do that, but I do live
Australia.
all the way in Australia, so it's kind of far away. Yeah, I would love to. I'm going to clear the crop. But yeah, I feel like, this shot would have looked a lot nicer if it was cropped in. but with
It's
the
hard
camera.
to have like a wall or a pole or something on one side of a photo.
Yeah, it makes it feel really unbalanced. Like, even if you were to get her into the center, like, even there would have been pretty nice as well. But yeah, to me, it still feels unbalanced to have something so solid in the photo, especially when the rest of the background is so soft and bokeh and green and natural. But yeah, no, it's still a really beautiful photo though.
Do you like Sony's skin colors?
Yeah, I do.
I don't see the problem with them.
Me neither. I mean, all the videos that are on my YouTube channel were all filmed on Sony, and I've never had any comments saying that the skin color looks funny in our videos. So to me, like, the photo is the same thing because it comes from the same camera, so it looks the same.
Except you got even more control in the photo because you got a raw file.
Yeah. I feel like maybe back in the day when Sony first started coming out with cameras that everyone was using, but things have improved so much, and especially if you shoot in RAW, there's so much you can do to the skin tones if you're not happy with how they look like straight out of the camera. And also Sony has a really good menu to change the white balance straight out of the camera. So you've got the normal white balance, and then you've also got, what's it called? It's like a grid, and you can change the colors to be more green or more pink just straight out of
Just the tint.
The tint.
Yeah.
You can adjust the tint, which I don't think you can do on Canon.
I think you can, but it's something you change and you leave. You don't touch again. Somewhere deeper in the menu, I think. But yeah, Sony, it's just when you're on when you're selecting your custom white balance, you just click one further. It brings up that. I'm pretty much writing that all day long as I'm shooting to make sure that colors are on point.
Yeah.
And it's great having that control right under your thumb. Again, thumb.
Everything's under your thumb in a Sony because it's so small. I call it side heavy, yeah. And then maybe if it was a tree, yeah, you're right. Maybe if it wasn't a concrete block, but a tree to kind of fit the more natural other side of the photo would feel more balanced. That's a good point.
Tree would have been good. Could have bought a back of coffee.
Okay. Next photo is Instagram username, your boss from work. Hey Julie, I've noticed in Lightroom you typically use Adobe Color as your raw profile. Wow, I can't talk. Versus camera standard. Do you find better results using Adobe as the starting point? This is something I've been meaning to change actually. Again, old habits die hard. When I first started photography, I had quite a few people tell me to always have everything in Adobe 98 color space. But as times moved on and I've learnt a lot of things for myself, I have learnt that sRGB is better for when you share your photos online, as that's the color profile that a lot of like websites like Instagram, Flickr, stuff like that, it's all sRGB.
It's just the internet.
The internet in general. So I've been meaning to change everything over to that. But yeah, I don't know.
It really only makes a difference if you're printing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, mostly if you're printing, depending who you're printing with, it'll make a difference. You're talking about sRGB versus Adobe 98?
Yeah. Alright, this shot is super cool. I love it. I like how, like, you can tell that this was shot in harsh sunlight, but you made it work with the angle of the model and the angle that you were shooting. It's really hard to get like an even lighting on someone's face in harsh sunlight, so you did a really good job with this.
That's such a cool shot.
Yeah, and then the view from in between the leaves just surrounds your model perfectly. Sometimes I feel like when you do shots like that, the foreground blur can be either too like much. Blotchy, like too much, or not enough, but this one surrounds it perfectly. So I really like that.
Well executed.
sRGB for web JPEG. Yeah. How do you find inspiration for shoots? I am mostly inspired by location. So I'm usually the passenger of the car because Dan drives everywhere, which is perfect for me being able to look out the window and keep an eye out for locations or places that we can shoot. So yeah, that's what inspires me a lot. I'm always looking out for locations. I'm always Googling where to shoot in Sydney or whatever country I'm traveling to.
Google Maps Street View.
Yeah, Google Maps Street View is the best. Do any of you guys do that when looking for a location? You just drop the little man on a street and you start like walking around on Google Maps? Because I do that a lot. Blues are a tad saturated. Yeah, that's something that I was going to say, is that I feel like overall maybe this image is a little bit too saturated. So for me,
clipping.
Yeah, it looks like the colors are clipping. Oh my god, I just realized it was a sunflower field. Oh, it's my favorite flower. I didn't realize.
How could you not?
I don't know, I didn't notice. I think because the colors are so vibrant, they are bleeding out quite a lot. So the edges of things aren't super sharp and it's kind of hard to see. It like bleeds into each other, the green into the yellow, and then the blue looks a little bit funky as well.
And like it is like the shot's nailed, like, because it's such a cool shot, you're not paying attention really to the...
Yeah, I'm like going, my eyes go straight to the eyes. Yeah, it's cool. And then something else that I wanted to point out, I don't know if you guys can see it in the shot, but I feel like the whites of her eyes look a little bit yellow. This happens a lot when you photograph in harsh sunlight and you photograph somewhere that has a lot of green, such as a sunflower field or a park with vibrant green grass.
Same as depending on how you post-process.
Yeah, that as well. What you do
with your colours. If you're shifting your white, you obviously shift...
Yeah, the whites of the eyes as well. So that's definitely something important to keep an eye out for.
I brought coffee.
Thank you. Oh, thanks for the coffee. Yeah, because vibrant locations like that in harsh sunlight create a lot of color cast. So if someone has blonde hair as well, if you shoot in the shade, if you go back and look at any photos you've taken of someone with blonde hair in the shade, more than likely the hair will have like a really light tinge of blue. And it's something that you don't really notice until you start looking out for it. And then it becomes like the most obvious thing in the world. It's crazy. It's like...
you know what you've just unleashed, right?
Everyone's going to go back in the archives like... Oh. Ivy, hi, thanks for all your videos. You're an inspiration. Thank you. Okay, catching up with some comments. Does anyone know why my Canon 1300D CR2 files won't import to Lightroom? Tells me to download a raw file extension, but that won't work for me. Any help? Yeah, if you've got Creative Cloud, try updating to the latest version of Lightroom.
That's always the solution.
Otherwise,
all cameras will work with Lightroom as long as you're updated to the latest version.
Yeah, have you updated? Let us... Oh, my Lightroom is up to date.
Oh.
Try converting your CR2 to DNG. Worked for me. Yeah, that's another thing. That's good. That's good. Oh, so many things to read. Head to Pottsville, New South Wales. I'll show you local quiet spots. They snuck in Pirates of the Caribbean up here. No one knew. Oh, that's sick. Hell
Pottsville?
yeah.
Sounds familiar. I can't...
Yeah, is that
put
like
it on the map.
North of Sydney? Can you check?
Yeah,
would like to know. What photography genres would you also like to try? I would really love to improve my travel photography, specifically landscapes, because that's something I admire so much. Like, I love looking at landscape photography, but when I try to do it myself, it's like quite hit and miss. The last live stream that we did, actually, which is on my channel, I was editing some of the travel landscape photography that we took when we went to Colorado and Yosemite. So I was like practicing my landscape editing, and I learned a few things from you guys on the stream, which was really fun.
Pottsville, Byron Bay. That's why it sounds familiar.
Oh my gosh.
we've driven past, because we've done New South Wales to Queensland and back.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I remember it from.
I've been meaning to go to Byron Bay for ages. Okay, next photo. This photo is by Mika CR on Instagram. And this is so cute.
It's a picture of a cat, so for me, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yes, same. I love cats. Okay, I'm still going to critique it though, just like any other photo.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the lighting in this shot. It's cool how the majority of the house is in the shadows and the cat's in this beautiful direct but really soft sunlight, which is, I feel like a lot of cat photos look like this because the cat finds the warm spot in the house.
Yeah, likely a cat, yeah. Depending on the weather, you've got pros and cons of where a cat will be.
Mm-hmm.
So unlike a person where you can tell them which way to stand or you can light up someone's eyes, cats will not the easiest things to control, but you can get perfect lighting on a cat's eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Well executed.
So yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it really brings out the color in the cat's eyes and like the pattern. And then something else, I really love how the cat's fur matches the buildings in the background with like the orange and the yellow. It looks so, it just complements it so nicely.
Specifically got dressed that morning and put on that suit.
And then the only thing is that I wish it wasn't so crooked. It would be nice if it was maybe a little bit straight. Maybe like that.
There we go.
I like that. Aw, cute kitty. If this is your photo, what's the name of the cat? So cool to see you in this live setup. Very interesting to have you both. It helps having both your points of view. Thank you.
Thanks. Our points of view are usually identical.
Yeah, they are.
Let's see if we missed any comments.
One of the better cat shots I've seen, as love my golden retriever. Oh, you have a golden retriever? Have you ever put an egg in its mouth to hold? Does it really have a soft mouth? I've just seen that on the internet. Have you seen those videos before? Apparently a golden retriever has such a soft, like, gentle bite that you can put an egg in its mouth and it won't crack. Yeah. Apparently, don't blame me if anything else.
We want everyone to try it, but don't blame me.
Okay, next photo is by Cavalcant on Instagram. The username's in the top left-hand corner. Because I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing things wrong. Okay. This is a really nice photo. I love the golden hour. I like the girl's pose as well. I feel like I don't really like how the image is cropped off right at the shorts. I feel like it would have been nice if you either got in closer and cropped it a little bit more at the hips, or gotten a little bit further out and included even just a tiny little bit of the legs. I feel like it would have looked a lot more flattering. Something for me is that I feel like when you crop off at a hip point, so this could be the ankles, the knees,
elbows,
the hemming of a skirt or a dress, the elbows, the hemming of shorts, the hemming of like a t-shirt or a jumper. I feel like it can look quite unflattering in a photo. I always have like a little rule in my head where I have to leave at least a little bit of space outside one of those hip points, for lack of a better word. So yeah, I feel like it would have been cool if you had, in this instance, I feel like a little bit more leg would have been nice.
Yeah, I think cropped out.
Yeah.
Rather than cropped in.
Maybe even had her hand in the shot as well. Like maybe if it was a little bit more, I don't know, like wrapped around her waist, maybe it would have been cool. But yeah, it's really nice lighting. It's pretty.
It's super soft sunset lighting.
Mm-hmm. Greetings from my room. Greetings from our office. Greetings from Russia. Oh, lots of greetings. Yes, he does it. Oh my god. He puts the egg in his mouth. That's so cool.
What's that?
On the top. In the middle, down the bottom. My instructions. Okay. I think it would look cooler too if you could see more of the sky. Yeah, it does feel a little bit busy because there's a lot of texture in the background, like of the grass. I feel like it's quite, yeah, there's just like a lot going on in the shot. So maybe having more sky would have helped balance that out a little bit better. It's a good tip. More of her would be great.
I feel like this as a portrait shot would have given more background, more leg. It would have been a perfect crop.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if I was shooting that, I would have been shooting portrait at that point.
Mm-hmm. Or the other thing is that if you wanted to get like a mid-length shot like this to include more sky, just to balance out that business, as you guys had mentioned, and if you wanted a shot like this where it was just grass in the background, I probably would have gotten in like this close because that would have made the background super blurry and not as distracting, and it would have been a really stunning close-up portrait of her. What do you reckon? What do you reckon?
Well, with the road behind her there, those two cars driving past, but there's obviously some large bushes on the side compared to the fence line.
Yeah, that would have been a cool background too.
So if you shift it over, 20 meters to the right, got a little bit closer to that tree, to that big bush in the right top hand corner, which is kind of chopped up by us, I just realized.
Well, you can still see a little bit of it.
But you could have evened out, gotten rid of the overexposed white part, gotten some nice bush.
Yeah. As Golden's still in shot. Could you crop, as Dan mentioned, for look? Well, first of all, I don't know. Sometimes, because that tree looks crooked and I was going to rotate it, but then I noticed that these are straight.
I don't even think that's a tree though.
So if I were to crop, I probably would have done it there. Like a little bit closer. Even a little bit more. Should we crop portrait like you were saying? Yeah, I feel like that's really nice actually.
Now if it was just slightly out.
Slightly out. Oh,
like
up.
A little bit further back.
Oh, yeah. With a little bit more leg. Yeah,
Possibly
that instantaneously, I love that actually.
If you're on a little bit more of a angle down, then you would have nudged that road out of the picture and you would have just had golden grass spilling from the back corner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame because like I don't like the cars, but this little thing here with like that tiny little bit of white sky, I think does look really nice. I kind of like that. But without the cars.
The other thing is you simply wait half a second later for the cars to pass.
It looks like they're parked though, no?
We will never know without knowing the shutter speed.
Sweet as. Alright.
It's a quick tip from the last one is if you've got a road in the background and cars are driving past, just wait for them to... If you can't get them completely out of the shot, wait for them to be in a spot in the shot where they're away from your subject so that you can either make them disappear afterwards or at least they're out of the way.
You would love him. He's a softie and rare white long hair. Oh, how beautiful. Have you ever looked at a photo submitted for critique and say it's so bad it's not even worth critiquing? No, every single shot is worth critiquing, honestly. Even if it's taken on a mobile, you can see that you put effort.
How else do you improve?
Yeah, exactly. There's no such thing as a bad photo because even from a bad photo, you learn things to do better next time. So yeah.
And then you've also got personal taste.
Yeah. Okay, this next photo is by Zuramod on Instagram.
I love the shot.
This is beautiful.
Love the bouquet.
Mm-hmm.
All the wildflowers.
Yeah, so pretty. Yeah, I wonder if you pick them like from the environment because it like looks like it matches really well. I love her pose. I love her facial expression. I love her outfit. I love how she's holding the flowers. I like the cropping. I like the composition. I like the colors. So pretty. There's only two things that bother me a little bit about this shot. The first one is her thumb sticking out. I feel like is a little bit distracting. Would have been nice if it wasn't there. Like maybe you have another shot that's in a similar pose where you can clone that part of the flowers to maybe replace the thumb. Yeah. Just because it's like sticking out on its own without the hand.
Which brings me to a question.
Yeah.
Do you think it's being cloned in the background?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. You can see that here you've got a kind of repetitive bokeh, which doesn't really occur like that in nature.
No, nature's not nice like that.
Black hair, slight blue. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the blue tinge in her hair here.
I like it.
But it looks cool. I
mind.
think it works in this shot. Just because of like her blue dress and the light blue sky and the green in the background as well. It kind of matches.
But yeah, with the background and the cloning, I kind of like it as an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like done right, it kind of looks like how the old
like a Petsful?
Yeah, like a Petsful of 55.
Like the
Helios,
swirly effect
yeah.
in the bokeh.
Like I like, and it could possibly be that. We don't know. Maybe Mother Nature was nice enough to give 3 grids of flowers in the background. We'll never know because it's shot on a 50 or an 85.
Yeah.
But
it's cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
it works.
love this picture though.
Me too.
So good.
The only other thing that I noticed is, can you guys see the banding in the sky? There's quite a lot of like weird artifacts and lines and stuff like that in the shot. I don't know if that was due to maybe the way you process the image. Maybe you over-processed a color, or it could have been the way you exported it as well. But something that I feel like helps is if you add a little bit of green into your shot. I don't know if it'll save this because it's quite a lot, but yeah, I feel like you need to...
No, it works best also when you add it to the...
Yeah, to the raw image. If you've got the raw image, I would possibly try and play around with this color, the blue sky right here, and try to get it looking as smooth as possible to remove as much of that banding. And then if you can see a little bit of banding, I would add like a tiny little bit of green just to break that up. Yeah.
Goodness, said it better myself.
Tad bit off-centered to the left. Oh, yeah, it is actually. Like there. Photoshop it easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said swirly bokeh.
Yeah,
He said
Helios.
swirly bokeh.
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 Yeah, you were thinking Petsful, I was thinking Helios.
Yeah. Yep. Petsful is the one.
Very
Which one
swirly.
is that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just a bit weird on the thumb. Yeah. This one is great, though. I'm struggling with finding my own style and colors. Any tips? For me, something that I like to do is reflect a lot and experiment a lot as well. So I like to try a lot of different things, at least when I was first starting, because I've kind of found my style with editing now. When I first started, I would edit vibrant, I would edit film, I would edit like horribly. I would do all sorts of different things and try different things all the time. And then I would always look back and reflect on what I've created, point out what I liked, what I didn't like, and from there you slowly start to form a style. And the other thing is that I feel like you're never really there. I feel like style is something that always evolves and always changes as well. Yeah. Okay. Next photo is by Benson's View on Instagram. This is cool. I like this.
We got Martin was saying play music on the photo shoot, no awkward silences, which is a reply to
Oh, yeah.
up there.
If I'm not a very interactive or social person, but I want to get into portrait photography, what advice would you give me? I have to do some shoots, but I'm kind of insecure when interacting with models. Yeah, so playing music is a great start. The other thing is that you can keep the shoot quite professional. Like you can get to know the model a little bit, even if you only ask them stuff to do with work. And then throughout the photo shoot, you can keep it, again, very professional and just discuss like what you need them to do or how the photos are looking. Yeah, give direction, give feedback. You don't necessarily have to become someone's best friend every single time you do a photo shoot, especially if you're like nervous and stuff like that. I feel like it does get easier with time though, because I used to be like that too. I used to be so scared to talk to people, and I still kind of am. Like I was really nervous to do the live stream today. Just before we started, I'm like, but yeah, after a while, you just get like better.
And Lewis, do you have a Discord server where photographers can talk to each other, ask for tips, and check out each other's work? Because if you don't, I think you should 100%.
I don't, but I would love to do that. I just don't know where. Do you guys have any recommendations for something like that? I personally don't like or use Facebook, which I know a lot of people have photography groups on Facebook, but I can't bring myself to open that website. So I would feel bad to like make a group and then not be active on it, because like I don't like using Facebook.
Yeah, it's been years since we've actually...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's a good website where we can do that, please let me know. Oh, Discord. I didn't realize that was...
that answers it.
Well, you didn't capitalize it the first time. Oh, okay. I'm going to write that down. Okay. I'm going to look into that. Maybe we can start that at the beginning of next year. That'd be cool. But yeah, music on the shoot is a really great way to break the ice and to feel a little bit more comfortable. Especially if you ask the model to play their favorite music. I usually find that they'll just like be chilling out and whatever. Yeah, it's good. Okay. This shot by Benson's View. I love this photo and I think it's really cool. This kind of angle is something that I've always wanted to experiment with, but I'm too nervous to like try it on a shoot. I just think it's so like weird and quirky, but it looks really cool. Do you like it?
I feel like you've got two options with a shot like this.
Yeah.
You either nail it or butcher it. And in this case, it's nailed.
Yeah. And like her legs are just like going for days. They're so long. Like she would be so happy with this photo. Curious, what don't you like about Facebook? I don't like the vibes.
It's just busy. Everything's thrown at you.
Yeah, I don't like the vibes. It's too busy. There's a lot of issues with privacy. I was gonna say privacy, like Sherlock. Privacy. There's a lot of privacy issues, information getting sold and like without your permission and stuff like that. And I just feel like I don't want to support a website like that. There's been a lot of talk about Facebook on Reddit actually recently. I've been like super into Reddit recently, going it every single night to fall asleep. That's probably why I can't fall asleep for hours. It's just so many things to read.
Yeah, I'd say Reddit's probably the opposite of what you should be doing if you're trying to sleep. But
music should be on the shoot. Here in Ireland, it's easy. We all know the Irish classics. I feel like Spotify is a really good place to start because you have like playlists there. Like Lydia always plays stuff on Spotify. Otherwise, I normally ask the model to play music because for me, I'm concentrating on photography. I don't really care to listen to music personally, but models
and we
usually
don't mind what music's playing.
yeah,
That's
that
the
as
thing.
well. Like we like punk rock, like Against Me, so I don't think people want to do a photo shoot to that kind of music.
But like we don't mind what's playing at all.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah, I
doesn't
like
bother
all
us,
kind of
it's
music.
Usually just in the
It's fine.
background. So.
Yeah, so I feel like it's more important for the model to play the music that they like
Yeah.
because usually they'll get more into the groove of modeling and be a little bit more flowy if they've got something they really like playing. So yeah, I usually ask them to put something on. Or like, yeah, ask them what they want and then you put it on your phone. Yeah. Zuckerberg is a creep, yeah. Facebook trolls worry me.
Do you know any good alternatives to using Photo Mechanic?
I used to use Adobe Bridge. The only problem with that...
No, we're saying good alternatives.
Well, no.
Sorry, I had to take it.
Yeah.
No, back to Bridge.
I used to use Adobe Bridge. However, it is very, very slow compared to Photo Mechanic. However, if you have a Creative Cloud account, then it's free. So if you don't want to spend, I think it's like $200 on Photo Mechanic, which is quite a lot for something to only cull images. Like if you do weddings full time, you're shooting 30, 40 weddings a year, then okay, Photo Mechanic is great. But if you're just like a hobby photographer or you're not making that much money, then it is quite expensive.
It's really expensive considering it's a one-trick pony in a way. Like all you're doing is culling images in Photo Mechanic, so you're just selecting.
Yeah.
But if you got say if you're in the tens of thousands of photos to select a week, then something like Photo Mechanic speeds you up so much because you can see every photo sharp,
like instantly. Yeah.
Which in Bridge you can't always. In Bridge it's not always sharp. You can't. The preview is not high resolution.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. It takes a long time because you either open up Bridge, need to let all the thumbnails load, and then you start going through the images one by one. When you do go through the images one by one, they will take a second or two to load to the 100% preview. So you'll see it as a really small file first, and then it will kind of go blank and refresh into the big file, then it will be blurry for a second, and then it will come into sharpness.
And now
when you go through 4,000 images from a wedding, you're ready to like tear your hair out with that.
And then you've got the whole keeping up with cleaning and managing cache and all of that with Bridge.
If you guys use Adobe Bridge and you've never cleared out your cache before, please go and clean out your cache because it takes up so much space. It's ridiculous.
Compared to Photo Mechanic, which when you close Photo Mechanic, cleans the cache out straight away. So it's just, if you're shooting professionally and you're shooting all the time, the Photo Mechanic will actually give you hours of your week back. So it makes you more productive. It gives you more time to focus on other things. It gives you more time to sit back and chill, like whatever.
We're not sponsored by Photo Mechanic. I know it sounds like it. We're like, it's amazing.
No, it's a really good solution.
Yeah, it is. But
and like we love
at the same time,
if
you're so I'm saying like a wedding 4,000 images selecting in Bridge does take a lot of time because you have to wait in between images. But if you're selecting a portrait photo shoot or a free photo shoot that you did, it's really not that bad.
No, then Bridge is fine.
Yeah. Because it doesn't take that much longer. But yeah, if you're selecting 1 or 2 weddings per week for the whole year, then yeah. Anyway, greetings from Chile. I really want to go to Chile. I want to go back to Argentina.
Have you been to Chile?
No. So I want to go. I want to see in Chile the desert. There's like 2 weeks in spring where the desert flowers bloom, and the whole desert, it looks purple and orange, and it's like a sea of colors, but for only 2 weeks because apparently they get like a storm, like El Nino kind of thing in the desert, and it happens like once every couple of years. It's like super rare. So yeah, let's go.
You'll need to find out when.
Yeah, well, Lena has family in Chile. They can tell us. They can keep an eye out on the storms for us. What's so wrong about selecting in Lightroom? For me, it's just way too slow, personally. And then also the other thing with Lightroom is that you need to import all the photos first. Whereas in Photo Mechanic and Bridge, it's like you're viewing them in the folder, like in Finder or Explorer. You don't need to import anything. You just open the folder and it's all there.
You're just selecting. So usually you're just adding a star or a color, however you work, or a label. Like, so you're just adding that to the file. You're not actually taking that whole folder and importing it yet. So if you select all your photos down, so you're selecting from 4,000 down to 1,000, then you only need to import 1,000 pictures into Lightroom. So at the same time, if you're working off like medium spec laptops or computers, that sort of thing, that are going to lag if your catalog's gigantic, it's much more efficient to work with a small catalog.
Oh, and that answers the other question. I think I remember seeing you make new Lightroom catalogs for all your shoots. Do you still approach catalogs that way? Yes, I do. Always. Always make a new catalog for each shoot. In saying that, my workflow is a lot different to how other people's workflows are and how they like to view their photos. Some people like to have everything in the one catalog but different collections because they like scrolling through all their photos or searching for a particular date and having all their photos there. Whereas for me, Lightroom is just that one step in the middle that I have to do with editing, and then I export and I have my own folder system outside of Lightroom where I go to look at my photos. Does that make sense? Yeah.
And it's also, our storage solutions are different to other people's. So having a Lightroom catalog with everything, well, not everything's online. So eventually files are it's not gonna be working. So everything gets a new Lightroom catalog every time. Yeah,
and for me it just works a lot faster as well. It gets slower like the more you import stuff.
I'm curious what would happen if we dumped 100,000 pictures into Lightroom.
I don't want to do that.
Just out of curiosity.
I don't want it. Greetings from Namibia.
Cool.
That's cool. Anyone use raw therapy? No. What is that? Is that like Lightroom?
Google.
Lumina 3 has just been released and ON1 Photo Raw 2019 is out now too. Can you write those down? I'm going to check them out. Okay, back to the critique.
What are we, like 6 pictures?
I'm trying my best. Lightroom would die down if you imported 100,000 photos.
How dead are we talking?
I think like not even doing anything dead. Just the little spinning ball.
All right. 100,000 might kill your Mac. I wonder if it would kill my rig.
I don't know. Next one, please.
I'll do some tests and we'll post it somewhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to kill all the computers in the office. We'll see how many millions of pictures it takes in a Lightroom catalog.
Okay. The only thing, because I just said I love this photo, for my critique side of things, is that I feel like the white balance in this shot is a little bit too warm. Because you've got the harsh sunset going on. She's wearing an orange dress. You're in a cityscape with like brown looking buildings. I feel like the white balance could have been a tiny little bit less just to balance out her skin tone a little bit more. Like you can kind of see it on her shoe and where she's standing that it's a little bit too warm. But yeah, aside from that, this is an awesome shot. So next. Oh, and also the hair tie. Always keep an eye out for hair ties, please. Okay, next photo is by tsun_photos on Instagram. This shot is so beautiful. I love it. The editing, like the color grading is really pretty, and I love the location. It looks like a kind of willow tree in the background, but it's creating this really beautiful bokeh. And I love how her hair is kind of blowing in the wind as well, and her outfit's really nice. Yeah, this is a really nice shot. The only thing for me is that I feel like her expression kind of looks maybe a little bit in between. Does that make sense? Like, it would have been nice.
I'm curious what the shot before or after.
Yeah, that's what I think when I'm looking at this shot. I'm thinking like, oh, I wonder what the shot before or after looked like, because I feel like that would have been the moment. This one kind of looks in the middle of the moment.
It's like, did she just smile?
Yeah, or is she about to?
About to smile.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel when I look at this, but it's just so beautiful.
I love the wispy hair though.
Yeah. Okay, next.
That's a nice bucket.
Nice bulky. Bulky.
Boke.
Boke. The Boke Bros. His hair a little too much over face.
On the previous shot?
A little bit, but I personally like it. I guess it also depends what other shots you got throughout the photo shoot too, because I personally like a little bit of hair on the face. I don't know. I like imperfect photos sometimes. I think it adds like a more interesting aspect. Yeah, I like to see both eyes. Okay. Yeah, I guess it would have been nice with both eyes. I feel like, yeah, the other thing is that maybe the shot before, the wind hadn't started blowing yet either. So maybe her hair wasn't in front of her face as well. That's interesting. But maybe this is the right shot because you look at it and it makes you think so many different things. Who knows? Sorry, I'm going to turn the fan on, the aircon on, because it's so hot. Okay, next shot is by Rosca and Dre Photo on Instagram. This is cool. It's really intense, which I like. And I like the color scheme as well. I like how the majority of the photo is, really desaturated. And then she's got bright blue eyes and the bright orange jacket as well. The colors are super cool. For me, the only thing is I kind of wish her hand maybe just wasn't in the foreground of the shot, like coming up to grab the fence. I feel like it's a little bit distracting. It would have been maybe a little bit more interesting if it was across her, maybe holding the fence next to her, or just even down by her side. So I feel like
that would be the only thing I'd say as well, because like you've got the whole entire face in focus in between the chain of the fence. So like, or rope, fence?
It's a fence.
It's a fence. Is it?
Oh, maybe it's like a net.
It's like net.
Oh, maybe she's in like a soccer net thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like the corner and then the white.
Oh, it is. I just noticed you've got the...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you've nailed that. So I feel like hand down would have just been nice and clean and that's all.
Yeah. But it's a cool shot.
I like it. Like, pro tip, never have a fence... Like, if you're shooting through a fence or through netting or anything, never have the line go through an eye. Through either of the eyes. Yeah,
that's a good one. Which, on this shot, you don't have that happening. Like, you've got the whole face inside one of the squares of the net, which is really cool because it frames her. Oh, Jesus, sorry.
Everyone's deaf now.
It's not a fence, it's a thingy from football. Yeah. We worked it out eventually. Yeah,
in a few seconds. So here's the thing, like we don't go through and critique anything pre. We've literally just picked a bunch of pictures. So we haven't... We're also looking at these for the first time.
Yeah, we don't know what things are. Okay, next shot is a wedding shot. And this photo is so cute. I love it.
Yeah, I love that shot. On that note, I'm going to go...
Oh, no, I've still got...
I still got... Yeah. I'm going to go make another coffee.
Oh, okay, bye.
Well, I got nothing to say about this one.
It's so pretty. The lighting is so nice and their expressions are really cute. And I like how he's holding up the veil. It adds like an interesting dynamic to the photo. The bokeh is beautiful as well.
Her hand...
Yeah, her hand is really nice. It adds that little personal connection between the two of them. And it's really subtle, but it's there. And you can, even if you don't look at the hand, you can see it when you look at the photo, that connection between the two of them. So pretty. And the black and white processing is perfect as well. It's like just enough contrast, but it's not too punchy that it makes it like harsh.
You could crop in a bit, but it really doesn't.
Yeah. Bye, Martin. Thank you for joining.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, and this shot is by Marilyn Photography. Yeah, like a couple of things that you could try is you could have pointed the camera down a little bit so you didn't have as much negative space at the top. But even then, I like the negative space. I feel like the composition is really beautiful.
I'm sure there would have been a few shots around, you know, photographer would have probably gotten a landscape, gotten a portrait, gotten a wider shot, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we know there are other shots, but like in terms of this shot, like, yeah, it could have been slightly more down or slightly just crop out that negative space, get a bit more of them in it. But
and then Grumpy Digger mentioned a touch more of back of the veil, but I like that. Yeah, you can it's like a little bit cropped out, but it's not too bad at the same time because it is the veil is cropped out on the left and right.
Yeah.
So it kind of matches. Oh, this is so beautiful. I love it.
Like probably if the veil was actually flat on her back, then it would look weird that the picture's
it would
not
be like
cropped in.
a sharp edge on.
Yeah, so you'd need to crop in more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then I wish the veil was covering the whole of their heads. Yeah, that could have also been cool. Sometimes with these critique photos that you guys submit, like I love them so much. And I also wish I could see like the rest of the shoot as well, because there's some photos that are just so stunning and you just want to see like the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's a really cute picture in the moment.
I'd still crop it. All right, next photo is by Zuza Zoo.
That's cool.
Hopefully I pronounced that right.
I love the lighting.
Yeah, this shot is awesome. We've got like that cool color grading again. But this one's a little bit more saturated, which I like. The pose is really awesome. And the location, where is this? It's so cool.
I love the symmetry of the picture.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Like it's
very pretty.
It's not that it's like identical everywhere, but you've just got like good lines, like pretty good rule of thirds. Like it's just a nice, such a clean image.
Mm-hmm. Couple of things for me is that I wish the hat was maybe the other way around, so you couldn't see the inside of the hat and like the tag. Maybe it would have been better like either to the side or just completely flip it around. I missed the last 10 minutes. My internet died. Oh no. Welcome back though. Japan, Korea. Yeah, I'm trying to remember in the email. I can't remember where she said it was in. She did mention it though. Looks Japan. And then the other thing, which I don't know, this is very subjective, but I kind of feel like maybe her elbows would have been cool if they were a little bit more out. Like a little bit.
Just like a smidget?
Yeah, like the tiniest bit more. Like instead of like that, maybe a little bit more out. So there's like a bit more of a stronger shape because she does have such a symmetrical pose. Maybe adding a bit more strength to that pose would have been cool.
More edgy.
But at the same time, maybe you weren't going for edgy, so yeah, it's like a bit subjective. But it's cool. And then the other thing is that you can kind of see on her skin tone that little bit of color reflection from the grass. It's kind of, you can see it like on her knuckles on both her hands. It's like that little bit yellow, and on the bottom of her neck too. And that's just, again, that reflection, the color cast from the bright green grass and the green surroundings that you're in.
Yeah, you got to remember, if it's bright, everything works as a natural reflector.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you've got a white reflector, if you're on grass, it's always going to be slightly greenish, yellowish.
Yeah.
If you're near a brick wall, say it's red, same thing's going to happen. If you got direct light hitting that, you're going to get a cast. And sometimes it's in a very subtle spot. Like under, just on the neck.
Yeah, I usually find under the neck or under the eyebrows as well.
It's a very small thing, but makes a difference if you pay attention to it.
Yeah, so what I would do to get rid of that is I would make a new blank layer on Photoshop and change the layer blending mode to color. And then you use just a normal Photoshop brush and you select a skin color that doesn't have the color cast. And then with a low opacity of like 20% or something like that, you just brush over the color cast until it gets rid of it. Her shirt looks slightly strange to me. Maybe the latch of shadow at the folds. Amazing image though. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Oh, and then Grumpy Digger, I think, mentioned one side has gap, the other side is closed with her elbows. Maybe that's what's looking a little bit strange. I think her right, or if you are her left elbow has a little bit of a gap, and then the right elbow doesn't, because the wind is like pushing the shirt. Maybe that's why I wanted her elbows to be a little bit more out. Julia, I love you. You're the photographer I look up to most. Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. And Tahir said it's China Qinghai. I don't know how to pronounce Chinese places. Sorry.
Oh, you got a location?
Yeah, apparently.
Cool.
Wait, how do you know that it's there? Have you been there before? Is this like a spot?
I want to go.
Yeah, me too. It's pretty. Okay, next photo. Next photo is by NitsGV on Instagram. This is a cool portrait, and again, this is an instance where the foreground blur really works. You've got like those 3 big leaves, and they kind of frame her face really perfectly. I think the story of this one is a shy young lady, not comfy in front of a camera, humble. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I don't know. It's like a really nice pose and like expression and vibe to the photo. Okay, back to this one. Saturation is up too high a little on this one. Yeah, I feel like it is a little bit oversaturated, and I also feel like it's probably a tad underexposed as well. Kind of wish you could bring your exposure up a little bit just to make her face and her eyes especially stand out a little bit more in the photo. Oh, his Instagram mentions the place. Oh, okay, cool. I'm such an idiot. I wonder, can we bring up the exposure? It's just a JPEG, so I don't have the... Yeah, if you have the raw image, it would have just brought out the details of her face a little bit more. I just feel like it looks like...
It's a little bit too dark.
Yeah. And then maybe saturation or vibrance down a little bit.
Yeah, having a quarter up with a bit lower set.
Yeah. But otherwise, it's a cool photo. I like how you've placed her in those leaves. Those leaves are really beautiful. I like how they're green on the inside and then have that little golden outline. Can I submit one real quick? Unfortunately, I've already selected all the photos for the critique because I've already imported them all into Lightroom, but we will do another live critique next year, probably at the beginning of next year, because this is really fun. I like this. So you can still submit your photos and I'll save them for next year's live critique instead. Yeah. Maybe only up the exposure on her face. Yeah, because I was like, it really unbalanced the whole photo when I did. The only problem is I don't have the raw image, which sucks. Yeah. No, we need the raw image to edit. But yeah, okay, we all agree though. It's a really nice photo though. Next up, we have a photo by HJuland on Instagram. Hack on Juland. There we go. The watermark says his name. Or her name. I don't know. It's great. My birthday tomorrow, so this a treat got you live. Oh, happy birthday for tomorrow. The email to submit photos is down in the bottom of the stream.
The little one down the bottom.
Is it really little?
No.
No. Love this photo so much. The tones are really nice. Yeah, I agree. The tones are beautiful.
The colours are really good.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on watermarks?
I personally don't like watermarks. Like, oh, I know this is really crappy, but like a watermark like this, like you can just so easily crop it out. So it makes you wonder, like, why is the watermark there? If that makes sense.
Because I feel like when there's a watermark on a photo, it detracts my attention from looking at the correct... So if you want someone to look straight at the eyes in a picture, but you've got a sharp text watermark on your photo, guess where their attention's going?
Yeah, especially in a photo like this where you've got such a solid dark color here in the bottom left-hand corner and then the watermark right on top. Like, it's very, very distracting.
It's competing for your attention. As much as, like, her facial expression and eyes are competing for your attention, the watermark is competing for your attention. That's not a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you want to focus on the photo, not on some text.
Yeah, watermarks are a tricky one because it's kind of like, I feel like when you post a photo on the internet, like, as much as it is your photo, you own copyright, you deserve to get paid if someone uses it for something. Unfortunately, people do steal photos off the internet and use them to...
Yeah, the watermark won't do anything.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's better maybe to just not have one. I don't know. What do you guys reckon about watermarks? Watermark can be deleted easily by Photoshop. Yeah.
Like, even if you've got, like, the 50% opacity watermarks through a shot.
Yeah, even that you can get rid of if you really want to.
There is not a watermark that you can't remove.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, you can reverse search your images and find where they're being used. And, yeah.
Like, I've had my images stolen before.
Too many times.
Yeah, way too many times. I had it stolen once by a very well-known store in Australia, a clothing store, and they printed my photo on a t-shirt and they were selling it.
And another well-known brand in London as well?
Yeah. The store in Australia, I couldn't do anything about. I tried to get in contact with them, but they ignored me. I tried calling and they like said there was nothing they could do, and I was too poor to like get a lawyer or anything, so I just let it be, which sucked because this is when I first started. And then on the other hand, I had a company another Australian company take one of my photos and use it online on their website without my permission, without crediting me, or they credited someone else actually, like altogether. And they didn't pay me for it or anything. So I got in contact with them and I actually ended up being able to get paid for that. And they were very apologetic and stuff, which was very nice of them because, like, yeah, it was good.
Jordan's got the solution.
That's why you watermark with emojis. Like a crying, laughing face on all your models. I like that.
But you see, then they'll turn into a style.
Yeah, and then people will want to steal that.
Start stealing that. You can't win. You cannot.
Oh, Jim Penn said something interesting, which I totally agree with. I think a watermark is good for proofs despite being easily removed. And yeah, I used to do that as well. When I used to shoot for like headshots and stuff like that, I would deliver proof sheets of all the photos so the person can select which photos they want me to edit. And those had watermarks on them because otherwise people will take those raw photos in the proof sheet and post them on Facebook or share them on Instagram, like, got my proof sheets. And I'm like, I don't want you to share like unedited like raw photos, so you have to put a watermark on them, which deters them from sharing it. Yeah. I was told publish 72 PPI to help stop stolen pictures. Yeah. That could help as well. It's just, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, 72 is pretty much stock standard for internet.
As
like,
brought up.
If someone's going to steal something for print, they'll want higher, but in terms of it being used online. small faded symbol watermark.
I'm not about watermarks at all.
Yeah, I'm anti-watermarking. in
Anti-watermark.
case it wasn't like that obvious from me bringing it up, and yeah, like to me, just it deters attention from where the attention's supposed to go in the image.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, speaking about this image with the critique, is I feel like again, I don't know if it's just my subjective point of view, but I really like it when a subject is in like the center of a frame. Is that just me? Or do you guys like that as well? Starting to question everything right now. Because I kind of feel like, so even though this model is gazing off to the negative space, which makes sense, I still feel like the cropping is maybe a little bit off.
Well, like she's nearly in the center. Like
yeah. And like the cropping on the left is like very, very close. Whereas on the right, there's just so much space. I feel like it could have been evened out a little bit more. Like, I don't know if it would have looked better to have the crops out the watermark. Like something like that, but without the... I don't know. I feel like I would have really liked her in the center, but with a bit more space around her on either side. I like more center. Crop that watermark.
So I like that crop, but I like the original as well.
Yeah, I like the original
The photographers paid attention to the lines in the shot, which I really appreciate.
I appreciate that too.
Like everything's straight, whether that's been fixed up in post or whether it was shot like
doesn't matter. It's
doesn't
sharp,
matter.
Straight.
The lines are straight. Good job.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Because that line on the right, if that was even just so slightly crooked,
it would have been very distracting.
Yep.
But yeah, and I also feel like the photographer shot at the right moment as well. It looks like it was quite a windy day, which I know how difficult it is to shoot portraits when it's windy. So you definitely got the right moment with this. The outfit looks cool. I like her posing. Yeah, and the hair is amazing.
Expression's good.
Top crop helps minimize window frame coming out of her head. Oh yeah, this one. Here and here.
I think there's a flagpole in front of a building by some chance.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it looks like a flagpole because it's like the right height.
There's more than one.
Yeah.
Alright, next shot, otherwise we'll be here till 8 p.m.
Center is better, you can focus on the model. Skin color is great, yeah. A sharp straight. I messed up my words. I went to say straight and I said sharp.
A sharp straight.
Yeah, that's the new wording. Next photo is by Bokeh Boys. Not Boke Bros. Not to be confused with Boke Bros. Do you find the white in the foreground distracting? You know what? I kind of like it. I feel like because she's wearing quite a dark outfit, it helps break that up a little bit instead of being just like a solid dark color in the shot. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it kind of helps bring her out of the shot a little bit. But that could just be me. Do you like it?
I don't mind it. Something different. You can have it with, you can have it without. Is that...
It looks like a flower or a leaf.
Or something.
Maybe it was a photographer's hair. Sometimes I get like foreground blur when my hair's like flying in front of my lens. We are picky. Her earring is set at the rule of thirds. All right, next photo is by Bokeh Boys. I love this photo. It's a very beautiful portrait.
I like it.
Yeah. I really like this image. What's the Insta? The Insta is in the top left-hand corner, Bokeh Boys.
And that's a 0 in the word
Yeah, it's a 0, not an O.
Yeah. I guess.
It's a very high-res image, I just realized. Oh, I wish the focus was right on the eye. It looks like you got focus just here in like her rings. This is like the sharpest part of the image. And her eyes are just slightly soft. Smidget. But I mean, you can barely tell. It's like only if you zoom in super close up. Maybe slightly warm. Yeah, it looks a little bit warm in the skin tones.
Well, the whites on her hair, where it's clipped up here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's get a little bit of the orange taken out. Maybe that's a bit too much. I kind of like it a little bit warm. So that's the original, and then that's with the warms taken out. I kind of like it warm, actually.
Like my only thing here is to be careful when shooting in harsh light to not overexpose or overprocess your colors afterwards. Just with the white in her hair.
Yeah, looking at this overexposed section, like the whole right hand side, and looking at her, it seems like you could have probably gotten away with underexposing a little bit more in your original photo, and then you might not have gotten such harsh overexposure on this side. It doesn't look like you pulled up the shadows too much on her face, so that's why I say you could probably get away with underexposing a little bit more. I personally love to underexpose my backlit photos because you can...
We live in the day and age where we can underexpose, so
yeah. Yeah, I was so impressed. Like when we went to Colorado and I was taking landscape photos on the Sony, I was using the bracketed exposure to try and get the highlights and the shadows of my landscape shots all exposed. When I got back home, I only had to edit a single exposure because you can save the highlights and the shadows so much. There's literally no point for bracketing.
Yeah.
On the A7 III.
Yeah, we're not in Canon 5D Mark 1 days anymore, so...
Yeah, back then you definitely needed to.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe like that, actually. That's the original, and then that's with tiny, tiny bit of warmth and tint taken out.
It fixes up the skin tone.
Nice framing with hands and hair. Yeah, I really like her hands in this shot.
The framing's really good.
The other thing, I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I never ever use liquify to change the way a person looks. Like, you know how people liquify to completely change a face, make eyes bigger, make someone skinnier. I don't use it for that. I like to use the liquify tool to shape hair. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Windy hair.
Yeah, windy hair specifically because it just tends to do so many crazy things. For this shot, I feel like maybe it's like a little bit too flat up here on the top of her head and a little bit too big here. Like maybe you could crop out that bit sticking out just a little bit and then use the liquify tool to push up the hairs just so it's like a little bit rounder here. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Hairdressing. Yeah. Or just use flash and expose for the background. Yeah, you could do that. But it, again, depends what style you're going for. Because you can definitely get natural light. Well,
Get that shot without flash.
Yeah.
Lights.
That's what I'm trying to say. But I mean, yeah, I feel like even just cropping that little bit out maybe made it a bit stronger. Like your eyes go straight to the eyes. A small reflector would have helped. Yeah.
Scrim, but like
that could have been nice. And you would have, with a reflector, you would have a really nice pop in the eyes. Would have been cool. I love the touch lower you did. Yeah, I feel like that really brought even more attention to the eyes. Like it was already strong and then it just whoosh.
Well, you centered them up a little bit more in the crop, I think.
But does liquefying the hair make them wet?
Oh, that question hurts my brain.
All right, next photo. This one was really beautiful though. I love it. Okay, this photo was taken by Jexica Photo on Instagram.
That's cool.
This is a cool shot. I like this. Yeah, the location's really cool. I like the harsh sunlight. It kind of looks like...
Going for a high fashion vibe.
Yeah, it is like a high fashion vibe. The love-hate relationship I have with reflectors. I know, same. I hardly ever use reflectors, mostly because I don't like shooting with one hand and then holding the reflector with the other hand, I feel like it puts too much strain on like my neck and my body. So I'm just like, no reflector. It'll be fine.
That, and you can find natural reflectors in the location that
Yes.
you're at usually.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Got to place your model strategically in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Next image looks really interesting. Nice clothing. I love the symmetry of the shadow. Yeah, same. Just casting a weird shadow on the wall. This. I was just looking. The shadow here looks a little blurred or something.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what's happening with the
Yeah, like if
I
it was...
like the concept of the shadows. They're intentional. It's not accidental.
Yeah.
And there's obviously been some shadow work done down there, because it looks like
shadow.
they may have cloned, in my opinion, or
like
is that some
here?
specs on your screen?
Oh,
No,
who knows?
Here.
Yeah, that... I don't know. It's weird, eh?
Yeah,
I can't zoom in. It's a small photo. Aussie clothes peg onto tripod stand. Super cheap. I should do that, eh? But then that would require me bringing a tripod and like remembering them. I'm so lazy.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be windy. The reflector's going to be, 20 meters in the sky flying away. Someone's going to get hit in the head.
Yes, next to foot.
Some kid's going to be using it as a frisbee.
Almost looks like the shadows are fake. Yeah, like specifically this shadow here. It looks blurred on the edges. It's really weird. And then like it goes straight here, but then it doesn't connect up here. I don't know. It's interesting. But like aside
I like
from
the
that,
concept of the shadows.
yeah, no, same
I
here.
like the fact that
I like that it's a
we've
bit
got
weird.
some like abstract lines happening. We've got this curved wall. We've got this curved round shadow in the corner. We've got this weird shadow behind her. It's all really cool.
I just feel like there's too much negative space on the bottom. And then we've got that line on the side. Maybe I'll crop it out. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, and I don't even mind this line. I actually really like that.
Done.
There is a sense of optical illusion, which makes it work. Yeah, I agree. That's a good wording for it. Might crop in a bit, but still super lovely. Let's fluff brush on shadow, maybe toe underpants. Oh, maybe. Oh, it kind of looks like they've like cloned the pants or something. I don't know. That's okay. I like it. It's very cool. All right, next photo. Next photo is by YLL_photography on Instagram. That's a pretty shot. I like when people experiment with harsh sunlight. That crop is much better. Yeah, I think so as well. I think it was too much floor in the other shot. But yeah, I like when people experiment with harsh sunlight, because it is a very tricky thing to get right.
I'm a fan of harsh light.
I know, I love harsh light too.
I enjoy shooting in harsh light. Like, I've got, like, in terms of video, there's pros and cons to it. Con being, I don't have raw files to play with.
So if you like over or under expose,
if I cook it,
you're done.
I'm done for. Done. Out I go. But then I've got ND filters.
Yeah.
So I've also got, and with Sony with the dynamic range, I can pull it off. I love shooting harsh light, but only for a few shots. I don't shoot like a whole shoot in harsh light.
Harsh sunlight is always so hard to deal with. I try to avoid it as much as possible. Yeah, I used to be the same because I love backlit shots and I love shooting in the shade because it's just so soft and beautiful. But like when you start experimenting with harsh sunlight, you can capture some really like beautiful and stunning images. It's like a
when
cool...
when you nail a harsh sunlight
you're
shot,
like,
it's like,
damn.
yeah.
I feel like when you really get into photography, you find everything wrong with every image. If the client's happy, then that's all that matters. Yeah, I completely agree. I'm only giving critique for people who submitted their photo because they asked for feedback. Sometimes it's really hard. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to make sense, But for me, like when you look at your own work, you can be really hard on yourself and be like, oh, this just sucks. And because you're so hard on yourself, it's hard to pinpoint why you might not be liking the shot. So sometimes it's good to get an outsider's perspective, because instead of them just being like, yeah, it sucks, or yeah, it's really good, they can tell you why it's really good, like specifically what you did well, whether it's the outfit or the lighting or the posing or the composition, and what things you could do to improve.
Which brings me to something. We still do that on every shoot.
Yeah.
That we shoot. We critique each other's work. And we don't fluff about it. We slaughter each other
yeah,
if
we
needed.
do.
And we don't care. It's completely constructive criticism. It's like, next time do this, or this should have been like that. And there's no hard feelings. It's just make sure client's happy. That's all you're aiming for at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if there's anything you can point out along the way that would change the way something is done, or the way you shoot, or something small that makes it better, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we give feedback to each other all the time.
Yeah, I feel like feedback is super important to improve, and also to know when you've done something right as well, and to continue doing more of that. Yeah. But yeah, I also agree that as long as the client's happy, then that's the most important thing. But the client can be happy, but you can also still find things that you can improve on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can always we all improve over time.
I love that about photography, because it's like you never really stop learning and improving. It's just there's always somewhere to go.
You're always trying to take a better picture than the last time you took a picture.
Just some positive criticism. It drives me cray when the limbs are cut off the elbow in this picture. Yeah.
Did you say cray?
Well, they wrote grey. Any crop at any joint is displeasing. Yeah, I agree. In this shot in particular, it's a little bit distracting that her elbow is cropped out. I kind of feel like this shot maybe would have worked a little bit better in landscape mode, because you've got the fence here, which is a little bit distracting because it's in such a distinctive pattern. So if you shot it in landscape, you could have cropped that fence out and then had the entire elbow in the shot and possibly only trees in the background. I feel like that could have worked really well. Cray. Yeah, the elbow should be in there. What was I going to say? But yes, I'm not overthrilled. I don't mind that crop. But yeah, like I don't mind it either. Like I feel like it still works, but maybe it would have been better in landscape mode. But I feel like they made the harsh sunlight work really well, like how it makes the eyes really pop. And there's no crazy distracting shadows on the face as well. Like you can see all the main parts of the face. Great idea, just opened more. Yeah, that's what I reckon. All right, and the color grading is really nice as well. The greens are cool. The skin tone looks nice as well. All right, next photo is by Tommy as a Service on Instagram. I love this photo so much. It like instantly caught my eye when I was going through the emails, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. A lighter color background would have separated the model. Yeah, I mean, like the bokeh here is quite light and it looks pretty nice. I feel like the dark, like the shadowy part helps her stand out a little bit more as well, since she's lit so brightly and she's wearing a white shirt as well. But yeah, this is another instance where it would have been cool to see like what else you did on the photo shoot. I like the face shadows. Yeah, same. They're really cool. She's got her face like at the right angle that the shadows aren't falling anywhere important. These live streams are great. Thank you. I love doing them. This one's so fun. I really want to do more critiques. This is the first live critique that we've done, and I think it's going really well. I like all your feedback as well. Okay, this shot is really cool. I love the pose that the guy is in. I love the way his hand looks in the shot. I don't know if that sounds weird, but a lot of the times when you've got a hand, it can look a bit fisty, but I like how all his fingers are just open. It looks really nice compared to this. Love it, but so disturbed by the flower face separation. What do you mean? As in the way it's cropping his face out? I kind of like it. I like how his face is hidden in the flower. Love the flower, just the right intensity. Yeah, I agree. It's like just vibrant enough. And again, this is another one of those desaturated, cool color edits. And then you've just got the flower to bring life back into the photo. I also really like the foreground blur of the flower in the top as well. And the bokeh of the branches in the sky look amazing. They look like weird spider webs or something. I really like it. Love the motion in the background. Yeah. Beautiful image. Yeah, I feel like I don't really have anything to say to improve this shot. I really love it just all around. But like I said, it's important to point out the things you do like as well, because that also helps. I'm only bothered by the flower on his forehead, but it's such a lovely photo / color. Yeah, it is like covering his forehead just a little bit. It would have been cool if it was like maybe up here instead, like just above his head. But I still feel like the in focus flower is so prominent that this doesn't really bother me that much. I mean like the top one, the blurry one. Yeah, sorry. Nailed a lot on this one. Agreed. All right, sick. Well, this is by Tommy as a Service on Instagram if you guys want to check him out. Props for the angle this was taken. The sky does a really great job at separating the head. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. This bokeh is crazy. It looks like a creepy spider web or something, but it's so beautiful at the same time. Just the difference in color is great. The flower to the jacket, to the background, to the skin tones. Agreed. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have another beautiful kitty by Max Schwiegel on Instagram. This cat is beautiful.
So much fluff.
What a beauty. Okay. This shot, I would have straightened it up with the fence. I do love the lighting. It looks like you took this at dusk, which is beautiful lighting for photos. I do feel like it might be a slightly bit, does that make sense? Underexposed. Like I personally would have brought it up just a tiny bit. I personally like kind of brighter photos though, so this could have been the style that you were going for. I love the foreground blur here as well. And I probably would have cropped it into the cat a little bit more as well. Current mood. Same. So I might let's try straightening it up.
Was that a word?
Yes. Okay. And then I'll try cropping it in a little bit as well. Oh my god. I just started looking at all the lines and they're all like, oh, which one do I follow? I'll do the main one. Oh, so pretty.
That's so cute.
Maybe
so
a little bit brighter.
Soft kitty, warm kitty.
He got suckered by the cats. I know any cat photo I came across, I'm like, we're going to include it.
They're good cat pictures. Though.
Yeah, they are actually good cat pictures.
And it's not easy to shoot animals. It's not, you can't exactly give them direction. Thumbs up for the crop.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I like this. And then that way you're looking a little bit less at the fence and more at the cat because he's like the main focus of the picture.
More centered in the shot now.
Yeah. It could have even been like this. Oh,
boom.
So cute. All right, next. Next photo is by That Girlty, GRLTY on Instagram. This is cool. Is this in San Francisco? Because I've always wanted to go to this tunnel of trees. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures at that location.
Presses, hey everyone, button.
Yeah, I've got the button here.
Hey everyone.
Oh, it's broken.
You pressed it too many times.
Yeah. Needs a new button.
When there are multiple lines like that, I usually try to align the centermost line. That's just me though. Yeah, the center one works well. Otherwise, I also do just like the most prominent line. And someone else said, being grey needed upping exposure animals are hard. Yeah, because you don't want to lose like the detail in the fur, but you want to bring out the eyes. All right, back to this one. Absolutely love the leading lines in this one. Yeah.
Great tunnel, yet so much tunnel. As in...
I don't know. How much are you willing to crop before worrying about print resolution?
Depends how big your raw file is. And how big you're going to print.
So this one's still 3000 by 4700 pixels, which is quite large. But yeah, it depends how big you'd want to print it.
Like if you've got an image with a largest side is 5000 and you crop down to 1000.
Yeah, then you might not want to print. Yeah.
Like that's not exactly going to print well if you're going for like a... What a print size. Man, we stopped printing a few years ago, so...
Yeah.
And I have a hatred for printers.
I know.
After many years of working with professional print... Like we had our own professional printers and I was always servicing and running maintenance and stuff.
So annoying.
Like,
printers are the worst.
I just want to... Anytime I think of a printer, I just want to take out a sledgehammer and...
Yeah. Printers can smell fear and they can smell... when you're running late.
Yeah, if you've got a deadline, your printer will decide it's time for a new issue that you don't know the solution to. And I'm going to make you troubleshoot until you're late.
Yeah.
That's how a printer works.
But yeah, the leading lines on this one is beautiful. I also, someone mentioned, I wish the photographer took just a step to the left and got her perfectly center, but it's still amazing. I kind of wish that as well. Like, I wish the trees on the left and right were aligned. The only thing is, with the angle that the photographer's shooting at, her head would have covered the end of the tree tunnel. And I feel like you kind of need that to have that leading line effect. So something you can do is either shoot it off to the side a little bit like this, or if you were to get it in the dead center, then I would probably like lift the camera up a little bit so the head ends just underneath or cropping into the tunnel so you can still see it like coming out of the head a little bit and you've still got those lines. That would have been really cool.
Otherwise you completely cover it and go for straight leading lines on the footpath so you get down lower instead.
I feel
There's
like
so many ways to shoot when you're in like a tunnel of trees.
I know, it's so cool.
You've got so many options.
And I remember when I was saving this image, the photographer in the email was saying that this was one of their first times of playing around with backlight. And I was going to say, I feel like they did a great job with the backlight in this one. Like, the trees look really evenly. Yeah, that's hard to work with. But the trees are evenly exposed and your subject's evenly exposed as well. Like, there's good exposure all around. There's nothing overly dark or overly bright.
Is that lens flare photoshopped in?
I don't think so.
I'd say no. I'd say that's definitely a lens that has been stepped down. So if that was like a 1.4, that might be shot at, f4, f2.8 or something, because you can see that the block is not round.
Yeah.
And it's only got, how many points on that? 6?
Yeah.
There's only 6 points on that. Yeah.
Oh, it
It's-
was shot at f14. We've got settings here.
there we
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
So it was shot on a
So it's
50
just-
mil at f14, 1/50 of a second.
That's why the lens flare looks sort of weird, because we're used to lens flare that is soft and even like it spills.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get the right angle, you end up with the lens flare, but you've also got the trail of light behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Here you've just got lens flare, and that's because it's so sharp.
Yeah, because someone wrote, Jordan said, I personally don't like lens flare. Do people find them pleasing? So for me, it depends what the lens flare looks like. So
it's all about the
this
lens.
lens flare in particular, I wouldn't want that in my photo. I would definitely use a lens hood if a lens flare like this was popping up. Like in my Sony 28mm f2 lens and the video I had just released on Wednesday, I talked about the lens flare.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't know, that lens is a little bit funny with lens flares, but if the sun is kind of harsh and it's backlit, it creates a really solid, like egg looking lens flare that's bright purple, and it's so distracting. I hate it. But then if the sun is like closer to the horizon and a lot softer, the lens flare is creamy colored and it's soft and it just like flows through the photo and it looks so beautiful. So
then you've also got that other lens flare. If the sun's a little bit too high, you end up with like these lines.
Yeah, the stripy
lens.
That's
like
not
it's
nice
sort of-
either.
Yeah.
What was that?
You love the new the 35 1.4 Mark II,
Yeah,
but we hate the lens flare. of it.
it's another
It's
egg-shaped lens flare.
Like that lens is so sharp. It's beautiful, amazing lens. We use it because of the sharpness and the speed, but the lens flare is bloody annoying.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's just
with the way I frame people in the center of my shot, the lens flare always ends up on their face, and it costs me so much time to retouch. I hate it. I have to find the lens hood for that, actually.
no, it doesn't make a difference.
Oh, that's right, it
It doesn't
didn't,
make a
because we did
difference.
tests. So
it
frustrating.
does not make a difference. I would same like even when I was last time I was using it, shooting back,
I wonder if-
shooting sort of sidely, even sidely, the lens hood doesn't really do anything.
I wonder if I can try and like desaturate the greens here. Because yeah, I agree.
I miss the lens flare of the 35 the Mark 1. That's still my favorite lens forever.
Yeah,
Sharpness.
that's a beautiful
Sharpness
lens.
or no sharpness, the original 35 1.4 Mark 1 Canon, that's the lens. No lens flare better than that lens.
Well, I mean, it's not perfect, but that kind of gets rid of it a little bit better.
It's less prominent.
Yeah.
Like you could shop it out, but
Yeah, there is less prominent, and I
point-
agree, it's like a little bit distracting. So it would be better if it wasn't there. If you don't want lens flare, then oh my god, I'm sorry. If you don't want lens flare, I would recommend to use a lens hood because that should help get rid of it. Sometimes I'll step down to f22 to get a star pattern flare. I like that from time to time. Yeah, that could look really cool for like bridal portraits at like a beach or something where you've got a lot of negative space. I
and
feel
depending
like,
on where you've got the sun.
yeah, I feel like the star flare would look really cool for that.
I don't think I've ever shot at f22 in my life.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I was going to say, so for an image like this, now that I realize we've got settings up here, I feel like f14, I mean, this is my personal style. I feel like f14 might be a little bit too much for a shot like this, especially if you need to bring your shutter.
50.
Yeah, 1/50 is a little bit slow, and if your model is moving like a bit more than that, or the closer she gets to the camera, the more chance that you'll have movement blur and she won't be like tack sharp in your image. So I would personally wouldn't make my shutter speed any lower than like 1/100
Especially that's
or
a 50 mil. So I'll make a 99% guess that I'm correct if I say that it was shot on a tripod.
Oh. Well, that makes sense, actually.
Tripod, because unless it was shot on Sony with the inbuilt stabilizers, but I don't think you'd pull that shot off on a 50mm 1/50 f14 with no motion blur anywhere.
That's true,
I can
because
hold a camera still, but
she is walking into the shot.
yeah, it looks like it. So that's got to be a tripod in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I only shoot landscapes at f12 to 14 max. I shoot landscapes at 1.2 max.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I actually do.
Most lenses have a sweet spot. It's usually around the f4 mark. We don't go past it. Like, that's where it's like tack sharp, and if we need a little bit, like if we need more, less depth of field, more room for sharpness, say you're doing family portraits and you got 20 people that aren't standing in a perfect straight line, then
you'd
you're
bump
like
up your aperture for sure.
f5.6 or something.
Yeah.
Usually don't have to go past that.
Yeah, pretty much family portraits is the only time that I use super high apertures of 5.6.
Yeah.
Which is not that much for a lot of people.
I'm pushy. I get them to like stand in. I'm always telling people,
like
specific
stand
people,
back.
straight line. Come on, you guys in the corner, like take a step back. Like let's get it straight. I will shoot at f2 for as much as I can, but if I can't get them in a perfect straight line,
then
it's
you
like,
bump
all
it.
right, yeah, 5.6.
Well, have you guys done family portraits before or shot with a big group of people? If you get them to stand in a straight line, I feel like the people closer to the edges start forming like a semicircle.
It's always a U, yeah.
And you're like, you're going to be out of focus.
Yeah.
Can you get good bokeh shoot on 35 1.4? Yeah, definitely. If you go on my Instagram,
my whole life is 35 1.4.
Pretty much all the photos that I post were taken on the 35. Like I'd say like 85% of the shots I post on Instagram. So you can see like the bokeh and stuff. And also my behind the scene photo shoot videos on YouTube as well. I've got a playlist of all the photo shoots I've done on the 35, so you can also see there that looks like.
You shoot on lenses that aren't 35mm?
I know, it's amazing.
What? Never heard of this.
Alright. Next photo. Oh, this is so pretty. This is by Bien Casual on Instagram. Oh, I love everything about this. The colors, the expression, the background. I love like her t-shirt, and her hair is beautiful too. I have like curl envy.
Yeah, that's hair goals right now.
I want that hair.
I want to wake up with that hair every day.
Same.
That'd be life.
Julia was my reason to get the 35. That's awesome. I sent in some pics for you to critique if you like. Thank you for submitting. So for today's critique, I've already saved the images from other submissions, but we are going to do another live critique at the beginning of next year. So everyone who's submitting photos now, I'll probably use them in the next live critique.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for who submitted during the last critique, and we'll try to include some of those. I
swear loads of portrait photographers don't realize their lenses have other aperture besides 1.4. Oh, I didn't know they did.
They mean that our lenses do shoot at something other than 1.4?
I'm like, very guilty of that. I don't know, I just love 1.4. It's nice. The only time I shoot at like f2 or 2.8 is when I'm doing like e-commerce on location for clothing brands, and I need more than just the face in focus.
That's the thing. If you're taking a portrait shot, right? And especially on a 35, because it's different if you're on 85. But if you're on a 35, you're going to prefer 1.4 because you're going to get that background separation.
You'll still get that at f2, 2.8.
Yeah, but you step down to f5.6 and you're 2-3 meters away from your subject. Your background's practically in. It's going to be slightly out, but it's not going to be nice at that point.
Yeah.
Get what I mean? Like, you're not going to get enough background separation for because of the fact that we use 35s for portraits, for close-up portraits. Get what I mean? Yeah. Because then on an 85, you can go to 5.6. Background's still going to be completely out.
Yeah.
Get what I mean?
I've been thinking about this for ages, but next year I really want to do a photo shoot where I don't go under 3.5. I'm gonna do it, you guys. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna have to like tape up your
setting. No, because
like,
just by like habit, I'm just gonna be like 1.2.
Alright. I'll gaff your camera up.
So yeah, that's going to happen next year. That's why you pay 1,200 for the 1.2 access. I like how you worded that. Access to 1.2. Bad crop and a little overexposed but nice image. Love the up arm to be fully in. Maybe the chopped off hand is begging me.
I feel like the shot's been cropped in.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it was cropped in post. But it was a 50mm shot.
Yeah.
So maybe it wasn't. But yeah,
I like the vibe
I
of it,
agree.
though.
Yeah, I feel like because it's so vibey, it almost doesn't matter to me, the rest of the little things.
Like, it doesn't need to be perfect.
However, I do kind of agree with you guys. So you've got the arm, like the forearm cropped out, and then you've got the hand cropped out. For some reason, the forearm cropped out bothers me a lot more than the chopped off hand. I don't know why. I feel like if you just had included the entire arm on the left, it would have been perfect. I don't even care about the hand. That's disappointing.
It's like that. A lot of people always hate the fact that hands get chopped off or feet get chopped off. We all know what hands look like. Not missing out on too much.
What's this? Is that like a feather or something? Maybe that should go. This is going to be horrible. Oh, it's not too bad. I mean, it's dodgy, but yeah, I feel like that feather or whatever that was a little bit distracting as well.
Lightroom, that's pretty good.
But yeah, oh, this shot is so beautiful. You did an amazing job. Add a hand emoji. We're doing it. Tell us a watermark.
I'm done.
That was good.
I'm out of here. I remember.
And then the white balance seems a little bit off.
I don't know if it
might
was
be a little warm.
An artist who did it regularly or if it was a one-off, but I remember this was years ago, possibly even on Tumblr or something. I remember seeing images where things were missing out of the shot and an artist would draw like sketch them in to finish off the image. It was its own hybrid art form. It was really cool.
Oh,
so like the missing hand would be drawn in and the extra flowers and stuff around the image.
That would have been cool. Yeah. I wish I had that kind of talent. Yeah, I remember seeing an artist doing that. So you know when you shoot 35mm film and the first roll of the first frame is usually only half exposed, the artist would draw in the second half of the photo with pen. It was so beautiful. If anyone knows who that artist is or if you know what I'm talking about,
hang on, I might be able to find it.
Can you please link it? Because I want to look at that again. But it was just one of those things that you just scroll through and you see on Tumblr. So like I can't remember the name. Maybe big growth on a forearm.
I'll see first off.
I don't mind crop limbs. Yeah, I'm the same as you, Nancy. I don't really mind crop limbs that much either. But yeah, here's a little before and after of the white balance and the temperature changed. So this is the original image and then this is with the white balance a little bit down. I feel like it does make a nice difference, but the shirt isn't as vibrant and I love it how vibrant and yellow the shirt is in the original. All right. Next photo is by hold_still on Instagram. This is a pretty shot. I really like the pose of the girl. And I love how her yellow shirt matches her eyeshadow, which matches the balloons that she's holding as well. Is Tumblr actually any good? Never used it. Used Pinterest a bit.
I think Tumblr's going.
I don't know what's going on with Tumblr. They're having like some issues or something. I don't know if it's available in the App Store anymore. There was like something going on. But yeah, I really like Tumblr because there's a lot of art and inspiration for photography there as well. Speaking of drawing, are you going to do a video of you drawing in Photoshop? I saw your leaf art on IG and loved it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would like to do that, but I feel like, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but sometimes with creative things, it's not something you can just turn on. Like you have to wait until you really feel like doing it and then it just happens. Like, I can't be like, oh, I want to draw a lobster. I don't know why I said lobster, but I want to draw a lobster. I can't just sit down and draw one because it'll turn out horribly. I need to like feel it. But yeah, if I get that feeling, I will definitely screen record because I think that would be a really fun like time-lapse thing to look at.
Did you film the last one?
No, I didn't. Wasn't thinking about it.
What a shame.
I mean, no disrespect by giving my opinion. I don't think I've taken a single photo that I haven't looked at and said, I wish I would have done this different or that different. I completely agree. And like I was saying before, I feel like that's the great thing about photography is that there's always somewhere to improve or something to change or something to just work on. And I'm the same. Like, I have photos that I'm happy with, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I wish maybe I tried this, or I wish maybe I asked the model to do this, or I picked a different location, or I did better with the outfits. Like, there's always something that you can improve on. But I think that's a good thing. I feel like if you're like, oh, I'm perfect and I take amazing shots every single time, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, like, there's two ways about it, because when it comes to our personal work, we critique and there's always something that can be done better. When it comes to client work, we get the job done. We don't with client work, we don't ever turn around and go, oh, this could have been done different, or that could have been done different.
No, but even with it's like tricky to word it because like, yeah, you do a good job with client work so the client is happy, but there is still things that you can look at and be like, oh, next time I'm going to try this because maybe it would turn out better if I changed my angle while shooting the ceremony. But you never look back on the shoot
that you just did thinking that it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always stuff you can try later on, but you're always happy with the client work that you've done. Yeah.
I'd love to meet a perfect photographer. Same. Who are you? Show yourself. I wonder if anyone like that exists. That would be cool.
As in, the world as a general consensus would agree that every single photo that photographer takes is absolute perfection.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, would it be like the world has to decide as a consensus, or the photographer thinks
the photographer would actually have to, well, because everyone's got their own opinion of what a good photograph is. He would have to break that whole.
He'd have to create a new standard of what a good photo is. No,
they, she, he, them. They would break the space-time continuum, in my opinion.
And then you made a good point. We would all get bored if there was one standard.
Yeah.
So perfect doesn't exist. For critique submissions, how do you choose which pics you will be critiquing? Is there anything you'd like to see that influences your decision?
It's random.
Yeah, it is quite random. I go through every single submission, and if I see a picture that something stands out to me that I feel like can help not only the photographer who took it, but a lot of other people who may be dealing with the same issues. So maybe like photographing harsh sunlight or how to pose people. Like, I'll pick that because it can help more than one person. Ivy, thank you again. I appreciate it.
We're always looking for things that will help everyone.
Yeah.
Like, there's not just the person who took the picture or just to point something out. Like, there's always a reason for it. So, like, we're not going to pick 40 images that the only thing that all 40 images have in common is they need to be cropped, because that's not going to help anyone. Like, there's always little things that can be pointed out.
Yeah. Even if they're like miniature, they're still helpful.
Yeah.
All right, back to this photo. So I really love this photo, and I like how you shot it in harsh sunlight and how there's bokeh on her back. I feel like it looks really interesting.
The dappled light.
Yeah, the dappled light is really pretty. The only thing for me is that the background and the balloons are in the direct harsh sunlight instead of being shaded by the tree like your model is. Something that I would have maybe liked to see is if you had gotten both the model and the balloons to be in the dappled sunlight.
Half a step back.
Yeah, so if you got the model to take a couple of steps back, and then maybe also that way you wouldn't have the bright overexposed background to the left-hand side as well. feel like that would have really helped balance out the image. Yeah. So I feel like for me, the biggest tip when it comes to natural light is to not only look at how the light is affecting your subject, but to also look at how it's affecting any props and the background and just the whole image in general. Yeah, but I think this is a really cool photo. I love it. All right, next photo is by Kang Sumrith.
3 years ago, I thought I mastered 20% of the knowledge. 3 years later, I feel like I've only mastered 5.
Same. I'm exactly the same.
Solid quote.
Yeah, it's funny. And I feel like the more you share what you've learned, the more you learn. Like the amount of times that you guys will say something in the comments or say something on Instagram or message me about something or say something in the live stream that teaches me is insane. And I'm like, oh, I'm learning so much like every single day. It just doesn't stop.
It never does.
No. Someone make it stop.
Yeah, knowledge is infinite, so.
Yeah. I'd love to see one of my images on a critique. However, I know there will be a moment of fear. What if it's really bad? Will this become a roast session? Biting fingernails, garden sound effect. Have you seen me roast anyone yet? Like I said before, there's no such thing as a bad image, only little things that you can either improve on or little things that are already good that you should keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is. I'm not going to be like, oh, it sucks. Because that's not helpful.
Not at all.
And that's also not true.
No. Constructive criticism, like that's all anyone needs.
Mm-hmm. Do the images have to be shot outdoors? No, they can be shot anywhere. They also don't have to be portraits. So we are going
cat
to...
pictures.
Yeah, I love cat.
Lots of cat pictures.
So we're going to be recording some critique videos for next year, and we'll also do a live stream. But for the videos, I was thinking the topics for it could be, one of them could be low light portraits.
Yeah, I think we were saying we wanted to look low light portraits next.
Yeah. So it can be like nighttime photos, dusk photos, indoor counts as low light as well. If we get a lot of indoor submissions, we could do like an outdoor low light and an indoor critique about indoor photography. So those are 1/2 themes that we're thinking of doing.
Of many. That's just possibly the next one we're thinking of.
All right. This photo is really beautiful. I feel like it is a tad bit overexposed. I feel like it would have looked nicer if it was like a little bit darker. So like bringing down the exposure, I feel like would have made it more moody, which would have really suited like her pose and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm. I like this image. Very creamy 85.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 85 for sure.
Yeah. 85 shot at 1.4, 1 over 4,000.
Settings.
ISO 1000, but your shutter speed is at 1 over 400. I feel like you could have brought your ISO down because it is a bit bright.
Yeah, on 85.
Yeah, but 1 over 400.
Yeah, 85 you can still go down to 1 over 200 if you keep still. But, yeah.
Do you think a little too much empty back area? Yeah, I agree. I feel like the crop could be a little bit tighter as well. Oh, I just noticed her reflection here. Oh, that would have been really cool actually if you had, a close-up photo like this with this crop is really nice. And then maybe also if you had shot a little bit further back and in portrait mode so you can see her and the reflection. That would have been so cool.
I like a 35 or a 50.
No, even on the 85 would look cool. That's nice. Or even not even her full reflection, maybe even just a little bit more of it, but that looks really interesting. Wonder if we can bring down the exposure and up the contrast a little bit. Oh yeah. That's kind of cool. And someone said slightly too green. I kind of like the green tinge I edit a lot of my photos to be super green. Yeah, see, I like it a little bit darker. It adds a little bit more texture and...
A bit more pop.
Yeah. I talk so much with my hands.
Chop them off.
It would have put more focus on her, but it is very beautiful. Wow, I love this photo. Yeah, me too. Can you move your screen? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Oh, they can't see the settings.
I'm just like talking about them.
Sorry, guys.
Oh no, I think the program's stuck.
What happened? Spinning ball of death.
The program that we're streaming with looks like it's stuck. Uh-oh.
It's still working?
Yeah, it is still working. The chat's going. I can't move us. I'm sorry.
Why is it stuck?
I don't know. I'll read out the settings to you guys. So ISO 1000, 85mm lens, f1.4, 1/400 of a second. Can you use your Aspen preset on this? These are all JPEG photos, so I can't apply my presets to it because they would look too harsh because my presets are created for RAW photos. We still see you guys. Okay, cool. All good. We'll just leave it.
Yeah.
I don't want to crash the live stream. All right. But yeah, this is a really beautiful photo. The username top left, Kang Sumrith on Instagram. That's the Instagram username. Need me an 85. Yeah, the 85 is beautiful. This photo is by Janina Grease. And again, this is a stunning portrait. I love it.
Jordan's asking if you know any screen overlays or plugins that make it easier to edit for people who are colorblind.
Oh, that's interesting.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what... Because it depends on what color you're missing as to what you see.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, maybe surely there's like a program or something that you could install on your computer. That's interesting. No, I'm sorry. I don't know of anything.
I'll look into that though.
Yeah, because that's interesting.
I'm curious.
Had a friend tell me she likes the purple in my image. I can't see purple. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. So someone said the light flares actually look okay. So in this image, this is an example of a sun flare, lens flare. I'm like, what's the word?
You'll get there.
I mean, they all work. This is a lens flare that I really love and that I would be happy with in my image. It's not too distracting. It's off to the corner of the photo. It's not crazy big or anything like that. It just adds a little bit of like a magic touch.
Yeah,
that
it's giving you a sense of direction to the light. Like because you've got light coming in from the top left, it's coming in on the bottom right.
Yeah,
as it does.
But yeah, this photo, I love how she's like over her shoulder. It looks really nice, and I like how her shoulder is brought up to her chin. It adds a really nice shape to her body, and it's like super flattering. And I feel like the over the shoulder look works really well with off the shoulder outfits as well. Looks good.
Yep.
I also love how she's wearing a white kind of dress or top or whatever, and the background is quite dark. It helps her stand out so much from the photo. The only little thing that I noticed is that I feel like the retouching in the image is a little bit too blurry for my liking. It looks like you used frequency separation to retouch. On the color layer, I would probably try blurring it just a little bit less to make it look a bit more realistic, if that makes sense. And then the other little thing is I find that with curly hair, like this happens to me all the time with backlit photos, is that little strands sticking out can be really distracting. I would probably just... light. Yeah, they catch light a lot. I would probably just get rid of a couple of them just so they're not like so overwhelming. Like that, and then probably this one as well is very... bright. It's like one of those things where you start and then you like can't stop because you're like, well, now this one's distracting. But yeah.
I like just those.
Yeah, just that. I feel
light.
like cleans up the hair just a little bit.
Boom. Down. There. That makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And like it takes 2 seconds to do.
Yeah, it's not time consuming at all. This photo is gorgeous, I agree. Her eyes need more light but beautiful image. Yeah, they could use a little bit more light. I do like the little highlight in her eye here though. It's pretty. It brings attention to her face, which is cool. Top of shoulder, can see it there with retouch. Oh yeah, it's like kind of not as retouched up here in the top. But yeah, I feel like, and just down here a little bit as well. I feel like frequency separation can be a little bit finicky. I always find with retouching, less is more. I feel like when you try and do more, it kind of starts looking a little bit unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
So. But, I mean, it's still stunning photo. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I think we're going to do just a couple more. I'm tired. We've been streaming for like 2 hours.
Oh, damn. No, I think closer to 3.
We started at 10. 11, 12. Oh my God, we have to go. All right, let's do the next 2 images and then we are out of here. I didn't realize we were streaming for 3 hours. You guys have been amazing though. Thank you so much. Especially you guys have been here from the beginning. Amazing support. Thank you.
Yeah, to the people who are actually hanging out with us
I know.
this whole stream.
So good.
Troopers.
We demand a 24-hour stream. Oh my gosh. It's been unreal, so hot today in Australia. Yeah, it's been really humid.
Yeah, we got the air
crazy hot.
Straight at us.
Any tips to make the models look taller and skinny? Any particular poses to keep in mind? I'm not really interested in making people look skinny in a photo. I prefer capturing their expression and like who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to some people that's important, especially when you're shooting like a wedding. I know a lot of brides want to obviously look their best and stuff. A couple of things that I usually mention is that I usually like to remind people to stand up straight. So when you slouch, you can start looking a little bit.
The way I sit?
Yeah, and me as well. I sit like that too. So yeah, if you're slouching, you kind of lose shape in your face and in your body as well. But if you stand up straight, all of a sudden you get like this shape back in your chin and your shoulders look a lot nicer and you just look a bit more flattering. And then the other thing, this is especially important with brides, but I find a lot of brides are very self-conscious about what their arms look like. So something that I like to tell them is to just keep their arms away from their body a little bit, and it makes it look slimmer. So yeah. 2 little tips. Okay, this photo is by yhage.jpg on Instagram. It's a little bit confusing with the file name there as well. This is a cool photo. I love it. The pose is really awesome. I love the expression. I love her outfit. Yeah, the colors, like the post-processing is beautiful. The harsh sunlight is nice as well. And the background is stunning. I love like botanic greenhouse kind of vibes. It's my thing.
For greenhouses, glass houses.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. I do feel like it's a little bit crooked. I always look for the main lines in a photo and always align my shot to those. Just because it's like one less thing that's distracting in a photo. The other thing with this shot is that I don't know what else you tried on the photo shoot, but I feel like you've got such a beautiful green luscious background here and this really cool like greenhouse at the top, that the solid concrete fence and the floor that she's standing on is a little bit detracting from that. It would have been cool to see you shoot in landscape mode where you kind of crop just above that little brick cement thing, and just had a lot of green and a lot of the ceiling in the shot as well instead. Yeah. All right, and then this is the last photo that we're going to do.
We do have
My stomach's grumbling.
Keanu Lee, who's been waiting to see his, which is
The
3
black
shots
and white.
ahead.
No, sorry, we're gonna. We'll do yours last.
Yeah, no, we'll do it.
All right, we'll do this one quickly because
Since
I've already
you're-
clicked
since you're
it, and
here,
then
we'll
we'll
do
do
it,
the
yeah.
black and white. Okay, so this photo is by Madeline Perry 2
It's such a
on
cute photo.
Instagram, and yeah, this is a very, very cute photo. Couple of things. I feel like it is slightly underexposed. I would personally bring up the exposure just a little bit, just to bring a little bit more light into their faces. So I wonder if I can do that. Yeah, like I feel like that makes them just kind of pop a little bit more from the shot. Then the other thing is that I kind of wish her hair wasn't covered in front of her face. It would have been cool if you were shooting like the slightest bit more
To the
straight
left?
onto them. Yeah, to the left.
Yeah.
So you were a little bit more straight
Yeah, yeah.
on your angle. And then that way you would have seen more of her face without her hair. And also I feel like there is a lot of negative space to the left. So I would probably just crop that in a little bit. But I do like the negative space at the top with like a little bit of sky. I think looks really nice.
I like how tall those fields are.
Yeah, it's really... we should shoot in a cornfield.
We don't have any cornfields around
Abduct
here.
me.
We don't have any high fields like that around here. Closest we got to a field like that was when we decided to plant 1,000 sunflowers in the backyard.
That was fun. I want to do that again. I love these streams so much. Every one of your videos you post, I enjoy watching. Please keep this going till the end of your channel. Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I am having so much fun on today's critique that I really want to do it again like tomorrow. It's so good. And Jordan said, I feel like critique streams work better than the videos, multiple inputs, and just good conversation.
Yeah, I like
and yeah,
it.
I agree. Because when I critique for a video, I'm just like sitting there by myself, talking to myself. And I'm
Yeah.
like, do you agree or not? Because like you guys can't talk to me through the camera. So yeah, I'm really liking this interaction.
It's just at the rate we're going, so we've done about 10 pictures in 3 hours.
We gotta like speed it up. All right, so this one is by Keanu Lee Photography on Instagram, and he's in the chat, so you guys should go and check out his Instagram.
Yep.
Wait, where did he go?
Still there?
We're gonna wait for you to pop into the chat. I want to make sure
Say
you're
hi.
here. Big fields of sugarcane you'd love. Yeah, that would be really cool for a photo shoot. I have sugarcane. Well, you just have everything in Byron Bay. You even in Byron Bay there's even sunflower fields. I'm dying to do a shoot in a sunflower field. Yeah, you're there. I've tried speaking, you don't speak back. Okay. So I love this photo. I selected it because I really love the way the groom is looking at the bride. You've captured like a
moment.
Yeah, a really sweet, genuine moment, like just at the right second. I also really love the lens flare. This is another example of a lens flare that I adore. And this is by far my favorite kind because it's not defined. It's just like a washed out kind of gradient in the image. And this was shot on a 28mm. Oh, wow. It looks more like a 50 or something.
Yeah.
To me. So a couple of things I feel like you could improve on is that I kind of wish you could see a little bit more of the bride. While I love the expression of the groom and this shot is like mostly all about him, it still would have been cool to at least see like more of her profile. If you had like quickly ran a little bit more to the right and captured a few more images of this scene, it would have been so beautiful. And then another thing is I feel like there is quite a lot of negative space on the sides. I mean, I don't mind it too much, but I'm just going to play around with the cropping. So the first thing, if you look at the little fence in the background, I feel like this image is slightly crooked. So I would kind of straighten it up there. And then maybe crop it in just a tiny bit more.
18 to 55 millimeter kit lens.
Oh, nice.
That is amazing for a kit lens.
Yeah, because you've got this really beautiful bokeh that I really like. Actually, it still looks a little bit crooked. Maybe there. I feel like that looks really nice. Just because since you only have his face to look at, I would prefer it to be a little bit more close up.
Centered.
If you could see a bit more of her profile, it would have been good to have it a little bit more zoomed out, because then it's about both of them. So it's about him and her with her dress and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a beautiful shot though. Did you shoot this wedding like on your own? Like, were you the main photographer for the wedding? But yeah, this is lovely. Well, I may as well just like, I hope you can't hear my stomach grumbling in the microphone. Okay. Do any of you guys see your photos here in the thumbnails? Because I don't want to leave the stream if like your photos are there. Oh, she's your sister. Nice.
Awesome.
Yes, the white is very bright. Yeah, that's the other thing. You could try playing around with pulling the highlights down on your raw photo just so the whites... Oh, I mean, even in the JPEG, that saved the whites quite a bit.
It's actually quite surprising.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised.
When a JPEG file actually has some data in it.
Just so you can see a little bit more detail of like her dress and the suit jacket as well. So that's before and that's after. But yeah.
Again, I'm super impressed that that's a kit lens.
Yeah, same.
Because like if you gave me a kit lens, I
don't know what I would do with it. That's another photo challenge that I want to do next year, is to get a kit lens and see what we can do. Yeah, maybe with Christina.
We've been meaning to, same thing, 18 to 55, the Sony one, the F, it's like a 3.5 to 5.6 or something. They've been meaning to do a shoot with a kit lens.
Yeah.
Just because it's been so long since you've shot on a
yeah, because my first DSLR after the point and shoot camera, that had a kit lens until it broke. Everyone just say one of the images is yours. Let's force a 24-hour stream. Thank you for the critique. You're welcome. I hope it helped. I've got 2 kits in cupboard. I am just a terrible snob. So am I. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream. I had so much fun. I was like really nervous before we started the stream, and you guys were just awesome. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun, and I really want to do this again soon. But yeah, I hope you guys have a really Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and if not, I just hope you have a really lovely rest of the year. I think we've got, so today's live stream is tomorrow's video.
What day is it today?
Today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
So my Saturday video is today's live stream. And then on Wednesday is my last video of the year, which we are going to record right now.
We are?
Yeah. It's going to be like a review of this entire year, because I don't know if you guys know, but this year was our first full... My stomach's grumbling. Our first full real year of doing YouTube. So before that, like I was uploading a little bit, but they were just like travel films and like little things and whatever.
And
but this year
we bammed out over 100 and...
Yeah.
Well, as long as we upload...
Every
next
Wednesday.
Wednesday's video.
Yeah, we've uploaded every single Wednesday and pretty much most Saturdays.
Yeah, I think we skipped
like cool.
just 1 or 2 videos, which will bring it to over 100 videos in 1 year to YouTube. Which that ignores all the other work that we do on the...
Yeah, and we've also had weddings and portrait work.
But
and
we've done over 100 videos for YouTube, which is actually kind of insane. TV shows don't produce that much content.
Fair, and it's just the 2 of us. Like, we don't get any help from anyone, so... But it's good, I love it. Do you post somewhere that you're going live just so I can make sure that I catch the next one? live. I usually post on Twitter.
And Insta.
Yeah, on
Did you?
Twitter, I post throughout the week saying I'm going to go live on Friday, like, and then remind you like throughout the days. And then when I'm live, I post to my story and on Twitter as well.
I get a heads up the night before.
Yeah, someone asked to see the second to last photo, which is this one by estimated.ch on Instagram. I love this photo so much.
It's
The
so good.
detail and the sharpening, like the sharpness is just so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
I love the light on it.
All right.
Alright.
We have to go and walk around because we've been sitting here for 3 hours.
Yeah, I think my legs are dead.
Fair.
Everyone have a good end of year.
Mm-hmm.
Go celebrate whatever you celebrate.
Yeah.
Have fun. Enjoy the new year. And we'll be streaming in about...
We'll be
We'll be
back.
back in a few weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. You guys are really fun to hang out with. Want to see crying, laughing emojis in every portrait from now. Can you imagine if like the next photo I upload on Instagram is that? That would be funny.
I might start doing that. Every time Jules posts an image to Instagram, I'll post the same one with an emoji face on it on my account.
And only the live stream people would know,
Yeah.
like the inside joke.
Stay safe, everyone.
Wait, how are we going to quit this if it's stuck? All right, guess we're doing a 24-hour stream.
We're stuck, Jules.
I need
We
to figure
can't
out how
stop
to...
streaming. Just pull the plugs.
Yeah.
Let's crash it.
Oh, yeah, and I agree. There was no one being mean or anything in the chat, which was sick. I mean, I didn't think you guys would, but it was nice.
No, you guys were awesome.
Yeah, awesome feedback from everyone. All right, I'm going to have to force quit OBS, the live streaming thing, so hopefully that works. Otherwise,